Everybody here?
I'm here.
All right.
Sure, Barry will jump back in when he gets his phone.
It'll be like 3, 2, 1. You know.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all good.
Yep.
It's Barry, man. We can wait for him. If he comes in a minute or two late. It's friggin' Bullhorn Barry, man.
Yep. There he is.
Oh yeah, good.
No, this is Mike. Do a mic check, Barry, real quick.
Mic check. 1 and 2.
Good.
Mic
good.
check.
Good to go. All right. You got 30 seconds.
All right. Oh man, it's been hot out here.
It's been warm here too.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like nearly 100 every day.
Get ready. Here it comes. Look out, cats, dogs, kids, curtain climbers, and crumb beggars. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you are live for the very first time tonight, right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show, Wednesday night edition for March 25th, 2026. And oh boy, do we have a good show for you tonight. With me on the microphone, we've got Bullhorn Barry. How you doing, Barry?
Doing good, man. Glad to be here and ready to roll.
Yeah, and we are a nation at war, man. We're approaching. You and I have been having these conversations every week about, hey, it's going to take Trump 4 weeks. He asked us for 4 weeks and our patience in Iran. And, for everything that's at stake, I was all for it. Let's give him 4 weeks. We're about 25 days now into his 4 weeks. And I don't know. Are you seeing any end in sight? What's your take on all this, Barry?
Well, I mean, if you listen to Trump, it's basically over. We've, gotten rid of all of their, people, right, that could be flowing into the positions of power. They're bad people. And he could take out their power plant at any moment and they wouldn't be able to do anything about it. We're flying around, he said, all over Tehran. And I mean, he's saying that the fake news is reporting things falsely and that it's basically won. So I don't know. We'll see. And apparently they're in talks to put in some kind of a leader over there, and that he's going to, obviously, he says he's going to have some sort of say in that. So I don't know. I mean, if that's all true, then it looks like it could be a win. But if you listen to the naysayers, they're saying it's all just hype and propaganda, and we're back to the, the old ways of Bush Jr. and Bush Sr. and Obama and everybody else.
Yeah, we're in this new paradigm now where if we can just go in, bomb the crap out of people, take out their leaderships and leave, and, it all turns out well, then we've reinvented warfare in the modern era. But if we're still there another month from now and he's then asking us for 6 more months, if this drags out into the midterms, I think it'll be devastating. And I mean devastating for everybody, for our country, for their country, for the world, for the Republicans in the midterms. It'll be absolutely horrible, So I hope this thing wraps up very, very soon. I can't imagine what the price of gas is going to be if we're still in there in 6 months from now.
Yeah, I mean, if all the doom and gloomers are correct, we're in trouble. I tend to doubt them. I think that they're overreacting, and this is why I've been silent. Not because I'm afraid to speak my point of view. I can't really put together a point of view that I think is going to be accurate, and what I try to do, I try as a self-proclaimed trends forecaster, I try to forecast what I think is going to come. I don't know what's going to come. I have no idea, no clue right now. And that's kind of what we were talking about on some of the other shows. We're kind of in a time of uncertainty and the unknown. But hey, when that happens, I just keep the faith until proven otherwise.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep the faith here. It's just tough. I wish we could have better transparency on the ground. I saw one positive thing this week, which is that 20 nations have now joined the United States to, a commitment in keeping the Strait of Hormuz open. And if we've got 20 nations out there with, their navy and their ships and their soldiers and whatnot that are out there helping us, then it gives hope, I think, to the people of Iran that, yes, the world is now out there helping you. It's not just America. It's Europe. It's the world, is out there. We've got your back. Japan's there. China wouldn't be there, but probably Australia, maybe. I don't know. They've got their own problems down there.
Mm.
But, the second thing we were talking about that needs to happen is some sort of a rise of the people on the ground there. They need to make some progress. I need to see, something along those lines where they are rising up and making strides to accomplish, a military coup where the people are in charge. And I am not hearing much about that, but I don't know if I would be if it was happening, times a million. It could be happening in their face all day long, and I might not hear about it over here because, we just kind of get Western media, which doesn't really have that information,
Mm-hmm.
And well, people do have them to report it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's. I don't know what's really going on. I really don't, and I don't want to pretend like I do, which I think a lot of people are doing. I think a lot of people are pretending like they know exactly what's going on, and they have some sort of inside scoop, And sometimes you just got to say, man, I don't know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I've got a clip from OAN that I think is kind of interesting that gives a different spin on what we've been hearing, especially it's kind of the antithesis of the doom and gloom. And it's sort of like what you were talking about, how people are sort of garnering support finally. But it's not just, sort of our allies, Western allies, but a lot of the nations in the Middle East as well. So I can play that clip if you want real quick, and we can kind of dissect it and go from there.
Go for it. Play clip 47.
The two general sides to the Iran war debate. One side is against it because, understandably, they're suffering from Bush-Cheney, Iraq, the endless war, PTSD. That's the Tucker Carlsons and the Joe Kents of the world. The other side is supportive of war in Iran because, to oversimplify it, this time is different. But how? We've heard that one before. This time is different is one of the worst arguments you can make in any debate. It truly is. But allow me to make the case. This picture is the single most powerful piece of evidence that this time really is different. There are other factors I've laid out before, like the fact that Trump is not a daddy-pleasing Bush, nor is he a money-hoarding Cheney bureaucrat. And we know Trump is willing to just walk away from the entire thing, unlike any president before him. But no, let's zero in on this picture and why it is so astounding. This is a picture of a summit held yesterday in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The men in this picture are the foreign ministers of every consequential Arab Gulf nation state that defines the Middle East. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Turkey, Pakistan, Jordan, Bahrain, Egypt, Kuwait, Lebanon, Syria, the list goes on. Never in the history of the entire world have these tribal nations ever agreed upon anything or not wanted to kill each other. But yesterday, these nations came together and they were in unanimous agreement that Iran is a threat, it must be condemned, it must be dealt with. Rewind the clock. Let's see where all these countries were in 2003 when W decided to move in on Saddam Hussein. Every single one of these countries, except Kuwait, opposed America for moving in on Iraq. They didn't support the move at all. They believed that Saddam Hussein was a needed strongman for a region that, without him, would descend into an Iranian proxy mess. And you know what? They were exactly right. We took out Saddam Hussein and Iraq fell to Iran. The Gulf states, for the most part, quietly, reluctantly, allowed America to use their bases in our forever war in Iraq. Kuwait hosted the bulk of our ground forces. Qatar provided CENTCOM with their Al Udeid air base. Bahrain hosted naval assets. And the UAE and the Saudis offered logistics.
So I don't want to let that go on forever. And sorry about that music, whoever did the video did not know how to mix and was trying to make it more dramatic or whatever. I thought I had downloaded a different one than that, but I apologize
Okay.
for that. But
It
yeah,
was
I mean,
very minimal. I didn't even hear it.
well, you could barely hear. I guess you could still make out her voice, but essentially,
Yeah, yeah.
it looks like, you know, maybe there's something more than we're just Israel slave, like all the, you know, anti-MAGA right-wing people are saying.
Mhm. And I was talking about the coalition of 20 countries, and this is even more important because it's the neighbors, it's the people in the neighborhood stepping up and saying, "Hey, this is crap. We don't want anything to do with it." The UAE, United Arab Emirates, that's where Dubai and Abu Dhabi is, and they're taking bombs, man. They're taking bombs on their billion-dollar properties. You know, the Burj Al Khalifa got hit. Like their premier, the wealthiest people on the planet are in Dubai, and it's it's a place that doesn't really have any reason for anyone to be tied into it. It's in a very, very dangerous neighborhood, Dubai, right? Yet it's got some of the richest people on the planet that are there because are they there? They say it's safe. You take away that safety element to it, and Dubai could crumble, faster than they would like, I'd say. Right? I mean, when they run out of natural gas and oil, what is Dubai going to do to keep those people there? I mean, they're great for layovers because they're right in the middle of the world, so to speak. So, if you want to go from Europe to Asia, Dubai is the perfect place to have a layover. But short of that, what does the place really have going for it? A lot of developed real estate, a lot of, money. But that money can disappear if it's deemed not safe. So they have a vested interest to push back hard when you start bombing Dubai. When you start bombing Saudi Arabia, man, you got a real problem. They're taking it seriously. I mean, even Israel now is getting hit hard. They've been going down for a month now into these bomb shelters every night. And now their defenses are running thin and big ballistic missiles are getting through and damaging like every building in a 3-kilometer radius, like they're taking big damage there now, really, like to a level that they haven't ever seen really historically through all the different conflicts that Israel's been through. And yet they're happy there to do this because they care and want to see the Iranian people free. They want to see the Persian people freed from the Arabic Islamic, totalitarian governments that have ruled over them for so long. And it's right on the cusp, man. It's right on the cusp. It's close. It could happen. And so here we are at a crossroads where, we don't want to. We're hearing reports now that they're sending another so many thousand, army troops over to the Middle East for what? For operations to help secure all this stuff. Boots on the ground. I hope not. I don't want to see American boots on the ground. If Israel wants to send boots on the ground, more power to them. But American boots on the ground, no thank you. Yeah. We're really at a crossroad.
Yeah. I think it's sort of up in the air. And here's the thing that kind of makes it all mysterious is I think everybody knows that Trump's not one to admit that he's going to be wrong. So he's going to keep shouting victory even if he's losing. And that's kind of the thing that, makes it sort of like maybe sketchy to some people, because he's not going to say, we made the wrong decision and we're losing. No, he's in his mind, he's always winning, even if he's losing, right? Because that's his mentality. And so I'm just saying, I hope he's right. And I think maybe he is, maybe there's like a lot of people say he knows a lot more than we do. And then you see this fracturing of sort of the MAGA happening, people rebelling against what Trump has done, even within the Trump administration. And I just wonder, and again, I'm not trying to go conspiratorial at all, but because things are so crazy, I have to ask myself, is this something more than just what we're being told? Because nothing ever really seems to make sense at this phase and this stage that we're in. So I'm just I'm with every answer I get, I have more questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't say I disagree with that. And, hopefully Trump is a businessman. Obviously he is. And, one thing business people understand, billionaires, of course, especially, is when to throw in the towel on a project. You know what I mean? You want to build this dream golf course and you're really excited about it. And you get in, you get all the planning done, the architecture stuff, you get all the permits, you break ground. And then all of a sudden you find out that, it's, I don't know, it's all clay or something. You underestimated how like brutal the ground is there to work with. And so all your costs are going to quadruple. A good businessman will say, wow, okay, throw in the towel, we're done. They understand the concept of sunk cost. You've already spent that money. There's no getting it back. Just move on. Don't throw good money after bad. And hopefully, if we're in that situation as a country, Trump can say that, recognize it and see it and say, hey, we did our best. It didn't work out the way I'd hoped, but at least we had a chance to hopefully give them some sort of a future. Maybe it did. Maybe it works out. Maybe it doesn't. But if we really get to that point where it's like, hey, we need 200,000 people on the ground to make this happen, well, you throw in the towel and say, okay, you know what? If the people there aren't going to do it, we're not going to do it for them. So
I think we're going to find out sooner than later. There's no way, in my opinion, that Trump is going to allow this to continue on. Now, let's say that we kind of have lost. It was more of a loss than a win. He'll declare it a win and just end it. You know what I'm saying? But he can't keep it going. Look, we're coming into our 250th anniversary, man. And we can't be having a controversial war going on during then, because this is going to be a time, to celebrate. This is a celebratory moment. And so he's going to want even Democrats hopefully trying to get on board. So he's not going to, this thing is not going to keep going on. The question is, after it's over, even if it's declared a victory, will it have been a victory? That's the big question. I'm hoping and praying that it is, because nobody wants to see people dying on any side. Americans, Israelites, Iranians, nobody wants to see people dying. It's just not good.
Into Saudi Arabia, to Iraq, to Kuwait, to the UAE, to all these countries, go fix your backyard, man. This is your problem. They're bombing you now, right? Go in there and fix it. If there has to be boots on the ground, it should be your boots going in there and doing what needs to be done. Because guess what? If this problem picks up again, they've already shown they have no problem bombing you. And so why let them? Why let them build back up and just get to the same place they were, where now you have this enemy as your neighbor, where you could have a peaceful, friendly, sectarian, government in Iran, where the Persians are allowed to be Persians and go back to their roots and go back to their freedoms that they enjoyed in the 70s before the Ayatollah Khomeini took over and declared, Sharia law on the people, whether they wanted it or not, You
want to hear a wild scenario, a hopeful wild scenario? Let's just go there because it's a possibility. It's probably not likely, but it's a possibility. Let's say we win this, they get regime change, and, it's somewhat democratic. The people are freed. And then right after that, there's a peace deal made in Russia between Russia and Ukraine, and that war ends. And then we come into the 250th anniversary, because I've been talking about this for a while, man. I'm a self-proclaimed trends forecaster, and I got to forecast things. And I'm telling you, Trump is going to make big moves before that happens, because he needs victories under his belt so we can truly celebrate, man. And the fireworks are going to be insane, dude. I mean, we're going to have if there are victories coming before the 4th, it is going to be unlike anything we've experienced. I guarantee it's going to be completely over the top, because you know how Trump likes to do things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this 4th of July is going to be a banger. And it's already starting off. I mean, it's already picking up. It's going to just month by month by month get bigger and bigger and bigger as we get into the summer now. I'm so excited for it. I really am. July 4th this year is going to be the biggest celebration the world's ever seen. And like you say, yeah, it's imperative that he gets these successes under his belt before we dive into that period, because we don't want to have that hanging over us. We don't want to be in a war going into that, Not that, I mean, that sounds trivial that, hey, we should plan the freedom of Iran around a party that we want to throw on the 4th of July. But it's kind of true, it just kind of is what it is.
Well, he's probably speculating that, he can get the job done before then, if any of this speculation that we're talking about is true. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't think
Yeah.
It's that controlled.
And Cuba as well, man. Cuba as well. If Cuba is free on the 4th of July, I think even they will be setting off fireworks to celebrate the 4th of July in Havana, because they'll just say, thank you, man. Thank you. We are finally free. After what, 70 some years with Che Guevara? Anyone wearing a Che Guevara t-shirt, if you have one in your closet, you should be ashamed of yourself. You have no idea what a monster that guy was. You think he stood up for the people? He killed minorities. He killed gays. Put them in firing lines and shot them in the head. Che Guevara was a beast. He was a monster.
Well, the left likes those tyrants, man. You got to admit that they do. They gravitate towards the terrorists and the bad guys all the time. I don't understand it. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, we just saw this little group of people go celebrate spring break down in Cuba. Ilhan Omar's daughter, what's his name? Hussein Chink's nephew.
Mm-hmm.
That total nut job, that loser. And a bunch of other people, the Code Pink people, and an array of like 100 or so people went down there, stayed in 5-star resorts, and had concerts with Kneecap singing about killing Jews in a communist country. And they're saying, hold tight, don't let the pressure from Trump get to you, man. Keep your communism. You guys are doing great.
Exactly.
Look around you. Do you love your country or what?
Exactly, dude. I mean, it's absurd. Time and time again, they show their hand. They show who they support, what they represent, and it's just coming out more and more every single day. They're not. You would think they would try to deviate from, or at least deceive the people, right? We're going to deceive the people. We're not going to really tell what our true agenda is because apparently that's offensive to most Americans. And so let's lie so that we can get the power back, and then we'll go all in dictatorial, tyrannical, communistic, Marxist, socialist, globalist nonsense. But no, they're showing their hand, which is just so bizarre. That just shows their extreme narcissism and how much they believe that the pendulum is going to swing back their way and that people will eventually embrace their crazy, insane, and ludicrous ideas.
But they've been living under it forever. I mean, if it was such a great concept and communism really worked, they wouldn't need the United States. They blame it on the embargo. Well, you guys won't trade with us, so of course we're going to be poor. No. If you guys had that good of a system of governance, you would succeed despite the blockades that we put on you. You would succeed despite them. Yet they can't. Yeah. My Lord, all you got to do is free up Cuba, and suddenly they're rolling cigars down there that are going for $200 a pop in America. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can take a couple ounces of tobacco and turn it into a $100 bill.
Mm.
That's sort of a magic power. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to. There's more examples of the left here in America, just showing that they're completely insane. And we probably need to play this maybe after one of the breaks, but I don't know if you saw this or not, but the Chicago mayor, Johnson, he literally said that incarceration is racist, immoral, and unholy, and that we are beyond that, and we have to stop that. There's better solutions. So apparently he wants violent criminals just running amok. But which is already happening pretty much in a lot of the leftist hellscapes anyway. But they want to officialize it. And they're talking defund the police again. All this crazy ideas that got them to where Trump got elected, they're going back to it. Going back to it's crazy, dude.
And, in theory, if we had a whiteboard and we could just draw theories up, okay, yeah, prison shouldn't exist. How would you go about doing it different? Okay, we find other ways to punish people, to rehabilitate them, whatnot. But we don't have that. It doesn't exist today. What we do have is prison. And granted, it's done wrong. We're doing many things wrong, incorrectly in our prisons. It should be much more about education and rehabilitation rather than daily butt raping, But it is what it is. Our prison system is shot because we don't care. It's a way to send people off where we forget about them and move on with our lives, and there's no sense of rehabilitation there at all.
Yep,
people go to prison to learn how to do more crimes.
Yeah, you have to have reform. It has to be mandatory to be let out. But the prison system has been privatized as well, and so there's money involved in it. So for those people, they don't want people to reform and to change. They want them to go right back into prison so they can keep selling those forks and those shirts and pants and everything else that's profitable with prison. The prison industrial complex, as they call it. But he was also talking about violent criminals, like I mean, we're talking
like murderers, rapists,
offenders, rapists, pedophiles. What? They don't belong in jail. Just let them keep running around. I mean, I didn't hear him giving any solutions, but I don't see any good solutions. I mean, maybe some kind of house arrest, but how is that going to be controlled?
He's just talking utopian ideals. He's not talking practical, real world, boots on the ground life in the big city of Chicago. You know, in the big city of Chicago, if somebody kills 5 people, they need to be in jail. They can't be on the streets. So in your like ideal, perfect world, there's a better way. Okay, great, but we're not there. We're nowhere near that at this point in time.
Yeah,
we're still in a world where this guy just killed 5 people. He can't be on the streets. Let's figure out something to do with him. So anyway, on that note, Barry, we got to take a break. Folks, we'll be right back after these messages with more of the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. Long, awkward pause.
Sorry, missed that, and we will be on break right now. We're on radio break. Sorry about that.
Oh, boy.
Drop something.
Did we have some dead air there?
Yeah.
That was a bona fide boo-boo, Mark.
And it doesn't happen often.
No, it does now.
How many times have you actually had me like that?
Well, it's one time tonight. We had one break so far tonight. You're 100% for tonight. I mean, I don't know.
I'm 100% for tonight, so I should be good for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see.
Yeah.
Did you
have thanks for the confidence in me,
I believe in you, Mark. I do.
I'm going to go to Timo and put on an ad for a new producer right now.
Okay. All right.
Look at Timo Mark.
Oh, boy.
Drake and Gus is what I'll end up with.
Oh, no, not those guys. You'll get too much squelch from the CB with them.
Brought you a spoon.
Thank you.
I think what the left's philosophy is that they believe like love will fix everything. We just have to love more.
Yeah. Imagine no possessions.
Yeah. Exactly. It's that John Lennon song that most everybody kind of hates now, at least ever since the Shamdemic.
Now you got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Lady Gaga, she played it recently. All the Holly weirdos still embrace that song, which is basically a crazy song, if you ask me.
The big pieces have a lot of fat, okay? Oh, all right. I'll talk to you later. Love you. Bye.
All right.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Food's in.
I ate so much pizza last night, I haven't eaten hardly anything today. So.
Oh, she made me some tacos.
Who did?
Really good. Nina,
Who's Nina?
my roommate.
Okay. You sure it's not something more than that?
No, it's not.
Just asking.
Wow. See how quick he said no?
Yeah, that he was defensive almost.
Yeah, he was.
And she would tell you too.
So in other words, you've had this discussion to keep it secret from everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a
on the
secret
same
now.
page.
Oh boy, it's a secret now. Okay.
I think she's actually AI. I don't even think she's real. I think it's your new AI assistant / friend.
Okay, looks like no Nancy tonight, so I'm going to be doing a replay for her. So we'll be good to go later. Oops, wrong. Yeah, I just got a message. Something came up for her.
Mark, why does your plaque on your wall have an extension cord going up to it?
Oh, the one behind her? My sister made that for
Behind
me.
us.
She said, congratulations on your graduation. Remember to be nice to your fellow humans.
But why do the two things up there have like extension cords going up to them? Or what? You plug them in? They glow at night or something?
They don't have extension cords on them. Mm-mm.
There's like
They're
a black
just,
line going down.
there's just stuff behind them that I have hanging down from the wall from that you don't see that I can.
Hmm. It looks like that plaque like has to plug in.
No, it don't. None of them do.
Hmm.
Jury finds Meta and Google liable in landmark social media addiction trial.
Oh yeah.
Poor Mark Zuckerberg.
Borg.
Zuckerberg. I think he's there for a while. He kind of looked like he was trying to return to civilization, and looked. I don't want to say he looked human. He was more like a humanoid, but now he's going back to his cyborg look because I don't know, man. He's just so entrenched in that whole New World Order thing. I feel for the guy, but not too much.
Okay,
you know
here's your countdown. 3, 2, 1, and you are live and on the radio side right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show, where everybody knows a good countdown starts at 5. But anyway, with me tonight, I've got Bullhorn Barry. What's up, Barry?
Hey, warm weather here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're almost at 90, and we're going to be in the 90s tomorrow. We got some sunshine, supposedly for 2 days in a row. No chemtrails in the sky. It was a beautiful, beautiful day, and I didn't even get out and get in a jog today, so bummer.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it's Arizona, man. It's been hot. It's been around 100 like every day now for a while. Going on almost 2 weeks. It won't be till the end of this weekend and until it cools off again, and it goes down to our average of about 80 degrees where it should be. So, yeah, I'm getting by. It's okay. I like it. It's fine, but it's hot in the middle of the day, man. It just gets hot.
Right. Well, you guys have cooler nights as well, don't you? In Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if it gets up to 100 in the day, at like 6 in the morning, it'll probably be like 60 degrees with a nice breeze. And so it's beautiful. Yeah.
It's nice.
And when it's hot like that, you typically wake up early in the morning like that and then go enjoy that time outside. And then when in the middle of the day, when it's really hot, you just, close everything up, turn on the AC and try to just stay inside.
Endure.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You always wonder how people live in a place where it gets up to 115 on a regular basis,
Oh, yeah.
And that's it. It's like, hey, it only gets up to or it goes down to 85, 90 at night. So if you wake up at the crack of dawn and you want to go play a game of golf, it's 85 degrees. You can get off, 9 holes before it gets too hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just go inside, and either if you go outside, you're going straight to the pool,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
or straight in the air conditioning of a car.
Yeah, Tulsa has had those kind of days. We're kind of all over the place. Nothing really too consistent. We haven't really had in the last few years a whole lot of temperatures that get up into the high 100s. But we've gotten 115, 116 degrees, just regular degrees, not the heat index. So those days are like excruciatingly painful, man. I used to ride my bike a lot in that. And it was like I'd have to pull over just because you start getting lightheaded, man. It's so hot, and it's humid. It's not like Arizona where it's dry.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. It is just completely dry. It's like 5% humidity. 10. I don't know what it is. Probably 15 or 20, but it's really dry. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you don't get that nasty, muggy, hot.
Nasty, hot, sweaty. Yeah.
Well, and also the thing about the humidity too is it holds the temperature so that in the middle of the night it's still as hot as it was in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you end up lying down in your sheets at night and it's just you're sweating, and That's tough. That's Florida for you, though, right?
You don't want to live in an area like that where they got rolling blackouts.
Oh, Lord, no. Yeah, California is like that, man. The Inland Empire, you start getting away from the coast and it gets really hot, and shockingly, you don't have to go far from the coast in California for it to get really hot.
Right.
If you're within, 15 miles of the coast, you're pretty good. But anything, past Pasadena and Los Angeles, and it's just a different world than it is in Santa Monica.
Yeah, it gets so hot here in Tulsa sometimes during the summertime that they put out warnings because unfortunately we have elderly people that do die from the heat. And sometimes they get out and do some yard work and they say, hey, just wait another day till it cools off before you do your yard work, So, but anyway, one of my neighbors, he's an elderly guy. He's out doing yard work. It seems like every day, dude. Every time I'm on my walk or my jog, he's out there raking leaves, mowing the lawn, trimming and I kind of admire that because, he's keeping active. And I think it's important as you get older to keep moving, man.
Yeah. And to get out in the heat. I mean, I have been living up in the mountains for so long that I just haven't had any exposure to a 100-degree day in forever. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like you kind of forget it's actually sort of nice. It's nice. Put on some shorts and a t-shirt or, sit in the sun, sit in the shade, get some breeze, it's nice. It's not the end of the world.
Well, that's debatable. I think some people think it is the end of the world.
Well, it can feel like it from time to time. So,
well, yeah. Crisis fatigue.
Let's see here. This is an article, Postmillennial, by Libby Emmons. USC cancels California gubernatorial debate because all qualifying candidates are white.
You gotta be kidding.
No. This was a last minute thing. It was like the day before the debate. They just straight up canceled it.
Outrageous. Racist.
Yeah.
Racist and outrageous, man. That is racist, dude. I mean, that's like saying white people are bad. There's something wrong with white people. I mean, it's just so ridiculous, dude. What is happening? This is unreal, dude. This is like, it's things like this that make me think the Mandela effect is real and that our timeline has been hijacked because it's just mental illness that's running rampant in some places.
Yeah, it's still the governor's race. You're still going to select one of these most likely 6 people, to be the governor. Don't you want to hear him debate?
Well, I'm just wondering what if it was all black people that were up there? Would they cancel that? No. So I don't get it. I don't understand. There's no logic to any of this madness, right? I just don't get it. I don't know why people are not outraged. Last week, I talked about how the reason that we have kids transitioning at 4 and 5 is because people have remained silent for too long. We got to start speaking up. When they start acting like they're mentally insane, like the mental asylum patients are running everything, we've got to speak up, dude, because that's like nightmarish. And One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest does not need to become a reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see. They put out a statement that USC did. It says, quote, "We recognize that concerns about the selection criteria for the debate have created a significant distraction from the issue that matter to voters. Unfortunately, USC and KABC have not been able to reach an agreement on expanding the number of candidates at the debate. As a result, USC has made the difficult decision to cancel the debate and will look for other opportunities to educate voters on the candidates and issues." Okay, so apparently they wanted, let's get instead of 6, let's put 10 people up there so we can have some sprinkling of minorities.
Okay, I guess that sort of answers my question. But what's the justification? I mean, I don't understand. What's wrong with people that want to run? And what's wrong? I don't understand. Like if somebody doesn't want to run, are we going to make them run because we need to be diverse? Where's the logic? Help me make sense of it.
Yeah, Steve Hilton, a Republican who's been leading the polling, said of the cancellation, quote, "What a pathetic humiliation. USC receives over $1 billion in federal funding, and I have written to the Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, calling for an immediate suspension of all federal payments to USC pending full investigation of this free speech shambles. Whoever is responsible at USC should be fired." It's ridiculous. Okay, you've got an election. It's coming up. You're going to pick a new governor. These are the 6 people that are running first in the polls, that are leading the polls, 1 through 6. Let them debate. Let them debate. You got Hilton, Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. That doesn't sound like, it's not Miller. Then you've got Eric Swalwell, Katie Porter, Dyer. None of these demanded access to the debate stage after more than a single-digit percentage of the polls. So, you've got some interesting people out there. I don't understand why you can't just let them debate, and who cares what race they are? It shouldn't even be on anyone's radar what race these people are. They're just the people running for governor. They're who the people are, saying they're going to vote for in the polling. So let them debate.
Well, here's my question, and I know the answer is yes to it. Was this election so far run in a way that was fair and just, legal and lawful? And if the answer to that is yes, which of course it most likely is, then they're against fairness and justice. That's what they're saying we don't like. And that's what I've tried to explain to people with DEI and wokeness. It's not justice and equality. It's equity and injustice. That's what they're promoting. They're not promoting justice. They're promoting injustice. And I think people need to read into this a little bit more than because people just kind of get caught up in it does seem unfair. Well, unfair how? Everything was done fairly and justly, but they're being fed lies. And because people have they no longer have critical thinking anymore, most people, right? They don't know how to critically think. They hear something and then they have a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of things coming down the pike that California is probably not going to like. Right now, the Supreme Court is hearing a case that will decide whether or not you can count ballots after Election Day. Now, it is Election Day, not election week, not election month, not election year, not election decade. It's Election Day. I strongly feel that we should know who won when everyone goes to bed. There should be a cutoff at midnight in your local area where the counting stops and you declare a winner. And if you need another week to start, digging through empty boxes and garbage cans to find ballots for your guy, you're cheating. And based on what we've heard from some of the questions, you never really know what the Supreme Court's thinking. You only know what questions they ask. It sounds like they're going to come down on this. And I personally think it's a great idea. 83% of people in a recent poll believe that ballots should be received by Election Day. And of those, 57% strongly agree that they should be received by that day. There's a partisan agreement as well. 93% of Republicans, 83% of independents, and 74% of Democrats agree ballots should be received by Election Day. And that's the thing, they mail these things out months ahead of time. You get your ballot a good 2 months ahead of time. And if you just sit on it and you come home and eat dinner every night and it's sitting there on the table and you don't fill it out and you don't fill it out and you don't fill it out, and then you wait till the very last minute on Election Day at 4:00 and then fill it out and throw it in the post office, it shouldn't count. You had 2 months to get it in. Get it in. If you know it doesn't count if it comes in after Election Day, then you're going to do it early. That's how simple it is. So, I don't know. I think that's just it. I watched what happened in 2020 on election night, and Donald Trump was winning in all the swing states. He was winning everywhere. It was a landslide. It was done. It was in the bag. They stopped counting. They sent everyone home. It was over. And then all of a sudden I wake up the next morning and he'd lost all those states. Because in the middle of the night when they had allegedly stopped counting, they didn't stop counting. And in fact, they counted a whole lot more. And they found nothing but Biden votes and giant batches of Biden votes, Biden votes, Biden votes. And we all saw those charts where, it was slowly going up. Donald Trump was in the lead, in the lead, in the lead. It looked like any chart should. But then all of a sudden at 4 a.m, Biden gets a spike in like 5 different states where his vote tally goes up dramatically to the point where he's in the lead in all those places simultaneously at 4 a.m. Who did that? Who made the call to say, shut it down? Let's go to plan B. Let's go to our emergency plan B because Trump's going to win this. We can't let that happen. Somebody made that call. And I want to know who, and I want that person on trial. I want that person to go to jail because there's a person behind it. There's no way that was just random.
Yeah. And we keep hearing from Trump that we've got everything and we've got him. The election was stolen and we're going to get these people. I'm ready for it, man. It's very important that we have arrest indictments and convictions if there are guilty parties involved, man. And I won't say too much about this situation other than this. If the Democrats win the presidency in 2028, you might as well just get used to more shenanigans and more corruption because all the red flags are being raised right now by the way the Democrats are acting. They are out of their minds. They don't care about, they shut down twice now. They've shut us down twice, right? And they don't care about the TSA. They don't care about American citizens. And they don't even care about their base. Even their base is turning on the people in power in the Democrat Party, right?
Well, you got to ask, what is their base?
Fractured. They talk
what
about
even is their base?
Fractured, but no one's more fractured than the Democrat. They don't even know what they believe in or what their platform is. They have no clue other than bash Trump and then crazy stuff like defund the police and, authoritarianism and just cut off your kids' genitalia. Just crazy stuff, man. No rule of law, lawlessness running wild, let the criminals go free, sanctuary cities. Anything and everything you can imagine that is the opposite of what would bring progress to America has been what they've embraced.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. They just came out with a clip the other day that's gone viral. Was it Cotton? No, one of the Democrats saying basically our base is the illegals. That's who we're here to fight for. They understand that they need that open border for people to come in to vote for them. They understand that they can't win with the American people, that they need to import people who they can put on the dole, they can pay them, bribe them money, and they will vote for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten to the point where it's just obvious. That's the plan. It's been the plan the whole time. And you can't convince me otherwise because it's just in your face obvious. They're doing it in England. They're doing it in Germany. They're doing it in France, Spain, all over Europe. And it's just in spite of their citizens. It's their citizens be damned. We just had this young lady from Loyola University in Chicago, Rogers Park. She got shot the other night by an illegal who shouldn't have been there. He was, let free on the streets multiple times and just killed this, lovely young lady, a freshman in college. And they're blaming everything but him. Well, she was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. It reminds me of that firewoman who said, well, if you're caught in a fire and I can't lift you because I'm a woman, you shouldn't have been in a fire. It's like, and they did let her go, I believe, if I remember correctly. That's a real story. That's a real thing. She actually said that. And so, and that's part of
in LA.
Yeah, that's part of DEI, right? They don't. They're putting in people that could crash planes, that could, not do a good job, that could harm people. Think about that in the medical industry, how dangerous that is when people's lives are at stake, right? Don't you want the best person cutting you open or diagnosing you? Everything they do just creates chaos, confusion, disorder, and just brings everything into shambles, which is really Build Back Better. They want to burn it all down first, and Build Back Better is just their nightmarish, demonic, dystopian New World Order. That's what they want to build.
Mm-hmm. I've got an article here from, it's a thread, I guess, from Data Republican over on X. Democrats teach voter identification and election integrity, just not in America. The Democratic Party has an international arm called the National Democratic Institute. It's funded by 181 million U.S. tax dollars a year, and its board includes Stacey Abrams and Donna Brazile and Tom Daschle.
Mm-hmm.
But in regards to today's Save America Act debate, did you know that the NDI has taught and supervised election processes all over the world? For 40 years, the NDI has told every developing country on earth that voter ID is essential for election integrity. They've recommended biometric systems. Yes, that's right. NDI recommended biometric system, which goes way beyond the Save America Act. They praised fingerprint verification, tracked ID cards, issuance rates. Meanwhile, Democrats call Save Act Jim Crow 2.0. Same party, same people, opposite positions. As always, patience as I pull this together, she says. And there's a list here of countries with voter ID. I can't even read it. Iceland, Sweden, New Zealand, Denmark, Canada, Ireland, Switzerland, Finland, Australia, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Germany, Austria, Malta, UK, Spain, Mauritius, Uruguay, Japan, Italy. Okay, that's about 1/5 of the list here, right? Haiti, Iraq, Pakistan, Palestine, Venezuela, Nicaragua, Lebanon, Thailand, Kenya, Turkey, Bolivia, Ukraine. It goes on and on and on. Every country on the planet requires voter ID. There are, of course, a handful that don't, but it's the rare exception.
Yeah.
And yet they call it Jim Crow 2.0.
So they want fairness, justice, fair voting, and all that for every other country in the world, but not for America, which kind of pretty much, like you were saying, exposes their true intent. You know, obviously they have sinister and deceptive intent because they want it for every other country, but not here in America, which is not even asking for, like what you were saying, going as far as they go. So they want to ensure that election integrity in other nations, but they don't want it here. Why? So they can steal elections. Steal elections.
And they think that you're stupid. They think the people out there listening to the show, the people that vote for them, and I got to admit, they may or may not be wrong. I don't know. They just think people out there are dumb. Because if you're voting for these people, you're dumb. You know, I know, everybody knows that voter ID is easy peasy. You can't do anything in life without an ID. Look at every single car on the road, every single person in every single car on the road, without exception. Well, I mean, maybe one out of a couple hundred has an ID, right? There may be one out of 100 or 200 cars that doesn't have an ID. They're not doing it legally. They're just getting behind a car and driving. But that's highly illegal. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has got an ID. If you go to a bank account, if you go buy liquor, if you go to an R-rated movie, I mean, I can think of 1,000 times a day where you need to have ID. And to act like voting isn't one of those because it's not as important as buying cigarettes.
Right.
What?
Right.
And remember, when somebody votes without ID, when somebody votes that isn't a citizen, they're stealing your vote. Period.
But the Dems do know, though. That's what you were saying. I mean, by and large, Democrats want voter ID. They support it. So
just not here.
Are they voting these people back in, or are the elections being stolen, or is it a little bit of both? And if they're voting these people back into power, why is that? Is it because they've been brainwashed to think that every Republican wants to actually destroy America somehow? I don't know exactly what their mental capacity is thinking, but it's hard to wrap your head around it. I agree.
Yeah. They just think, and they prove time and time again that the people that vote for them are just not paying attention at all. There's no way you can pay attention and vote for these people. You might not like Donald Trump. I get it. But look at the opposite side of the aisle, man. They're lunatics.
How does Schumer get reelected? How does Nancy Pelosi get reelected? How does Lindsey Graham get reelected?
Yeah. Tell me about it. I mean, they're just embedded in their districts. They have been there forever. People recognize the name and they say, oh yeah, and when you've got a congressman that has been there forever, they're on top of all the committees. They've got the power. And so if you put in somebody who's new, who doesn't have that power, your seat does, take some damage because they're not going to be able to allocate the same types of dollars back to your district that the veteran could have. Because they don't sit at the top of the Ways and Means Committee. They're going to be down at the bottom, fighting from, to get anything, scraps. So, people, they vote for what's comfortable, right? How many times has a dead person won an election?
I think it's happened a few times.
Yeah, where they die, but everyone's like, oh, well, whatever. I'll just vote for, or what was that Eddie Murphy movie where he, the Distinguished Gentleman, I think it is. He's just had the name Jay Johnson. Vote for Jay Johnson. I'm your guy. When, he won in a landslide. You must vote for Jay Johnson. I'm the guy.
Right. It's frustrating, man. I think people are waking up. They got to be waking up, man. That's the only good thing. The very fact that they're showing their hand and not trying to deceive the people, which I think would be a much better strategy if I was the Democrat leadership. I would try to deceive the public, and get the power back and then go corrupt. But no, they're just saying we're corrupt. We love it. And you'll learn to love it because we're tyrants and authoritarians. Deal with it.
Yeah. Welcome your overlords. Welcome them into the party because we are coming for you. We are socialist Democrats. That's right. Socialist Democrats. That's right. Socialism coming to you, and you get to vote it in. That's where the Democrat part comes in. You vote them in once, and you get them forever.
That's right. Well, hey, all the globalists that are all democratic liberals or whatever you want to call them, they say in the future we won't need to vote because AI will decide. Well, who's programming the AIs? Obviously, it's liberals because everything that's coming out of AI is very liberal based, dude. It's all liberal based establishment talking points.
And on that note, folks, we've got to go to break. This is the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. We'll be right back after this.
All right, we're on radio break.
Good deal. Hey, I've got another clip if you want, dude. We can
Sure.
Play the Owen Schroyer clip where he talks about how Trump's the worst president ever. We can sort of talk about the fracturing of some of the right and how it's going to just basically the outer limits of lunacy.
Is there any music in it?
No. I actually copied this one myself, so I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I just pulled that last clip together right before the show. That's so because I just learned about it, and then I downloaded a different one, thinking that it wouldn't have that music in there, but I didn't get a chance to check it. So that's why. Otherwise, I mean, if I had a little bit of time, or if we'd done it maybe in the second hour,
I played an unverified clip.
Wow. And you just admitted to that. Oh,
Yeah.
Man, dude. Oh, no.
Say it was unverified. It was one of the top clips. But yeah, I whoever made that video does not even know how to mix. Like if you're going to put music in there, you can't put it up so loud that you can barely hear the voice. That's not how it works.
Well, that's kind of how it came out on my end. We'll see how it comes out on the edit.
It came out pretty good on my end. I couldn't hear the music at all, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, if you had like a phone speaker, that would be the case. But if you had good speakers, you're going to hear, it's going to be harder to hear her voice, but you could still probably make it out. But it is annoying. But most of the stuff that was good stuff that she said, the music stopped, which is the best part. So, and then I cut it short so it didn't keep going on forever.
Well,
because I think
it did. Once the music stopped, it came out super clear. So,
of course, yeah. I run everything through my little.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, let's see. What is the temperature right now? Let me check.
Well, we're going to lose this room, so let's go ahead and hang up, and I'll pick you up on the next one. All right?
All right.
Wow, 99.
Wow.
99 bottles of beer on the wall, 99 bottles of beer.
All right.
You take one down.
See you on the next one. That was hour 1 of Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. Hour 2 coming right up, and then after that, we have Jack Carey with Paranormal Intelligence Agency. You won't want to miss him. Let's get these guys up and rolling.
All right.
There we go.
Yep. But you know, it says it feels like 93, which I don't know where they pull that number out of their butt.
Yeah.
All right, I got this the clip queued up, so we're ready to roll with that. It sounds really clean. You wanna hear the mix on it, Mark? It's pretty much set the same thing as my mic is, so you should be all right.
You check it.
Okay, well I'll play it. Here you go.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even
we
want
need
to say
play all
it
your
hurts so
footage on
much.
that.
Honestly, it hurts so much.
Okay, sounds good.
My job is political play-by-play.
It's clear.
Got it. I just reset it, so it's good to go, man. And it's like a minute long, so we're good.
Yep.
I'm going to get that clip ready for next show with Rex Jones talking about Nick Fuentes taking over InfoWars, because that is crazy, dude. That is absolutely insane. I can't even imagine. Now, again, that's Alex's son saying that. It's not Alex saying that. But, I mean, you know, they do.
Yeah,
he would know.
No. If you have dinner with the guy every night, you know a thing or two about him.
It's just shocking to me. I just, I don't know, man. But
Maybe,
Rex is
maybe that's
kind
the
of
point.
I don't know. Rex is a lot like Owen Schroyer. He's black-pilled, man. Almost all the younger people that really don't have any life experience, almost all of them that are influencers that once were MAGA supporters, they're now black-pilled and they think Trump has totally betrayed us, man. It's very bizarre. It's very strange. They completely forget all the good that he's done, and they just simply see all the bad and nothing else. Nothing else. I mean, that's just not sound thinking at all. Which makes me
Yeah, I'm trying to find, while you're on that one, what's the name of that dude that just left the Trump administration? He wants to now testify for, Joe Kent. There it is.
Right. Well, and then there's the other side of that where some people on the right are saying anybody that questions the war are neo-Nazis, like Dershowitz is saying that. No, I want people to speak their opinion even if I disagree with them. I don't want you to go and start doing what the left does and start silencing people. I don't like right-wing tyranny any more or less than I dislike left-wing tyranny. It's just got to all end. The insanity's got to stop. I mean, have your opinion, but do not go around trying to silence Tucker Carlson and silence, all these other people that just because you don't agree with them. We're going to shut them down. We're going to cancel them. We're going to get rid of them. We're going to make sure they don't have a voice. We're going to call them anti-Semitic. We're going to put them in jail. We're going to cite them a ticket. Give me a break, man. You guys sound like the left. So it's like that. There's like this double-sided thing. I don't agree with Kent. I mean, I don't think that Trump is doing Israel's bidding. I think that there's more to it than that. I think it's a little more nuanced than that. We'll find out for sure, I'm sure, before this whole thing is said and done. But at the same time, man, what is happening? It's just also bizarre. You have to still stand for free speech. You still have to stand for freedom. You can't be just bashing people like that. Like I'm going to point out how Owen Schroyer's completely lost his mind. But at the same time, I don't want him silenced.
Yeah.
I don't want him banned or, cited a ticket for being anti-Semitic. I don't think he is anti-Semitic. I really don't. I think that he's got a problem with Israel. But and Netanyahu, but I doubt he's anti-Semitic.
Like Dr. Pepper.
Oh, sorry. Was your food good?
Yeah, it's real good.
Be
Thank
off
you.
the record, and if you say, hey, this ain't off the record, then you can go off the record. Okay.
Yeah, it does seem like there's like a little bit of cracking happening right now. I feel like it seems like we're on rocky ground at the moment, a little bit. Just giving my opinion. You know, I hope that it like kind of gets worked out, but so far everything kind of has panned out right in the end.
Yeah.
I'm saying, so I'm optimistic of that, but it does feel like we're on shaky ground at the moment. And of course, you've got, you know, this huge machine of social media, right? The internet, where everyone has a voice now. Everybody can have a voice. You've got thousands and thousands of opinions, where you used to have 3 or 4 opinions coming out of, you know, the 3 networks back in the day. And so that can kind of cause some crazy chaos. Which is, I guess, why we don't like people like Candace doing the stunts that they do, but that's been around forever. I mean, she's basically like National Enquirer. That's when I think of Candace, I think of not even the National Enquirer, more like the Sun. Remember the Sun? Every front page was the president has met with the first gray alien. That's
Right,
kind of how I
30
see
seconds,
Candace.
guys.
Now remember, Mark, countdown start at 5.
Yeah, about that. You really want me to start at 5?
4,
3,
3.
2, 1, and you're live and on the radio side right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show, Hour 2, Wednesday night, March 25th, 2026. And we've got all kinds of good stuff to get in with you tonight, so let's just roll with it. Bullhorn Barry, you have some breaking news for us that could potentially dictate the future of InfoWars and therefore the world.
Yeah, I don't have that clip. It's a different clip. I have the
Well,
Owen.
we can build into it though. I mean, we have news that's leading up to that. Is what what I'm saying here. So yeah, I know you have one clip of Owen. So let's go ahead and dive into that one, and then we'll talk about how that leads into potentially the future of news in America.
Sure.
They so much. It honestly, it hurts so much. But my job is political play-by-play. I think this is the most corrupt president we've ever seen. I think this is the most corrupt administration and the most corrupt president we've ever seen. And I can't believe it. It hurts me so much. And I wonder how much of it too, it's like, was it always going to be this way? Or after he saw how corrupt Biden was, he just said, oh, well, if Biden's that corrupt, screw it. I'll just be that corrupt. If I can't drain the swamp, then I'll just become the swamp king. It is so bad, man. It's just, it's. He might be the most corrupt president ever. I can't believe I'm here saying it. But I just call the plays on the field. That's what it is. But hey, don't worry, guys.
So there you go. Owen Schroyers, formerly of InfoWars, who's, been pro-MAGA, was at the January 6th event supporting Trump with InfoWars and spent some time in jail because of the lawfare of the Biden regime. Now he's totally turned on Trump, as so many on the right have. And it's just very bizarre. Trump, the worst president ever, please.
I think what happened to him is he was stuck in an airport on a layover, and he was forced to watch an episode of The View. And by the end of it, they had him believing.
I know they put him in a room and they captured him for like a month straight, and they put like goggles on him to where he had to watch The View 24/7 for like a month straight, and then he got brainwashed, and he's never come back to reality.
A lot of people are going down this road. I don't know what does he think Donald Trump has done that's so corrupt? The worst administration in history. Like, what is he talking about? Do you even know what he's referring to?
Well, they have this stance, America first, and that means no wars. And I think that's it originates from. But to say let's just say that maybe Trump is wrong, and we'll just pretend that he has betrayed his base in that regard. Well, what about all the good that he's done? Yeah. You can't just ignore that. You can't pretend like he's not doing some good. I mean, can you imagine what it would be like if Kamala was the president, where we would be? I mean, and they also believe that this war is going to go on forever. That's never going to stop. It can't be won. And that, it's going to lead to World War III. Their conspiratorial minds just go wild with this. Once they start, it's like Candace. Once she starts, man, she starts connecting dots that just aren't there. You know what I'm saying? And Owen is the same way. If you go listen to his channel on X, every time I've listened to it anyway, which I can only tolerate so much of it, it's all doom and gloom. There is absolutely no hope at all whatsoever. And that's what it means to be black-pilled, where you see nothing but just evil ever before you.
And I don't get it. I mean, why is this a forever war? To me, it looks like, from everything I've seen, that the absolute vast majority of the people in Iran want nothing to do with the IRGC, with this Islamic regime that's ruled over them for 50 years. They want nothing to do with it. They want out. And they love their country. They love their people. They love their land. They love everything about it, but they just hate this dictatorial religious, government that's been forcing them to live under their laws, right? So to get them out of that system, that to me is phenomenal. They just have to go take the brass ring now. They've got to go take that ring themselves. We can't do it for them. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be ugly, but it's right there. All they got to do is reach out for it and grab it. It's right there. So to call this a forever war, I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to be a forever war, because if they don't take that ring themselves, then we're not going to stick around forever to just bomb them and bomb them and bomb them until they end up hating us more than them. They say, wow, at least, they didn't kill everybody.
Well, Venezuela seems to have turned out better with the capture of Maduro so far. I mean, from what I can tell anyway.
Yeah, he's got the president there, and the people running the place are scared of Trump. They understand that they can have the carrot or the stick, and they chose the carrot. I think Cuba is about to do the same thing, and they're going to choose the carrot. Although these people, these nut jobs that went down there on behalf of Americans to try to convince them that communism is better, they only hurt the cause, right? Hassan Piker, losers like him and the Code Pink nut jobs are hurting the people of Cuba so much more than they could ever imagine. So much more. More and more people will have to die now because we've just encouraged the government to hang in there just a little bit harder. And if you just got to kill another couple thousand people, well, maybe it's worth it, because Hassan Piker went down there and told them that, hey, America loves you guys. We want communism in there. We hate this stuff. And I'll tell you what, there are a lot of people. I have a poll up here that is showing that a lot of people in America, young people, are actually into communism, right? Two-thirds of young Americans now support socialism. Okay, let me dive into this. The latest but not shocking but reprehensible news regarding victims of leftist indoctrination. Campus Reform is reporting 62% of American adults under 30 say they hold a favorable view of socialism. Throughout history, like communism, socialism has oppressed many and has not worked. Despite demonstrable facts, sadly, many academic institutions in America have been promoting this evil ideology. A recent survey found out that only 38% of American youth had an unfavorable view of socialism. I'm reading from Gateway Pundit here. It's disgusting that there are that many people out there that can't see what we have in America.
Yeah. it means we've got a battle on our hands, man. You know, and people don't really realize just how close we are to losing everything we love about this great nation. There's some people, we just call them the normies, that are just living their life in oblivion. They have no clue as to how close we are to losing everything sacred, everything beautiful, everything amazing about America, man. Like you said earlier, and I've said as well many times, we are at a crossroads, man, and we are either stepping into the Great Awakening or it's going to be the Great Reset. There's not going to be this limbo where we're hanging in the balance forever, because both sides are battling it out tooth and nail.
Yeah. Well, and think about it like this way too. If we keep America the way it is, then it looks like no different than yesterday. You know what I mean? It's just what we do every day. We keep going on and pushing on. But if they win, it's a monumentous, giant cliff that we fall off immediately.
Oh, yeah.
There's no going back from it. It's a one-off boom. Guess what? We just got rid of the Constitution by 51% majority in the Congress and the House, and President Kamala Harris is going to sign it into act. So boom. Instead of going through what our Constitution dictates, which is, an assembly of the states, they're just going to say, hey, we voted on it at 50+1 in the House and the Senate, and it passed. And so, now we're going to sign it into law. And guess what? We're now a socialist country. Here's your new Constitution. Here's your new everything. Folks, you're going to love it. Here's your new checks for your stipends, for your basic income and all that crap. And what? Nobody has to work again because tax rates are going to be 80-90% on you if you do. So what's the point of even working? Let's just fall into chaos. Let's let our country just fall into decay and chaos, because why not? Socialism is great. It's worked everywhere. It's been tried. It just hasn't been done right. No one ever did it right. We're going to do it right. Right?
Right. I've heard that before.
Mm-hmm. So with Owen Schroyer and his black pill, you were mentioning that someone had a conversation with Alex Jones' son, and I'll let you, do the spoiler here. He said who might be in line to take over the InfoWars empire.
Yeah. Well, let me kind of preface it by saying this, because I kind of wanted to play the clip so that I make sure I get all the details right, because I listened to this a couple of weeks ago, so my mind might not be completely fresh. So I may not be giving it correctly, but I'm giving it to you the best that I remember it. So let's just keep that in mind before I give it. And we'll play the clip next week if you want. But essentially, Rex Jones was doing an apologetics post on X about his father, Alex, which was nice. And I enjoyed it. I was listening to it. And he was talking about, how great Alex is, and they differ in their opinions, but he has great respect for his father. His father's been right about so many different things, and he's close to his father, and his father rescued him, when there was this whole debacle between him and his first wife. And so he's giving like a lot of like personal background and stuff. But then he goes on, somebody comments, because it was a live stream, and says, well, you'll never be Alex. You'll never be able to take his place. You'll never be able to fill his shoes. And he was like, you're right. I won't be able to do that. And he goes, we've discussed this, and that's probably not going to happen. And we already know probably who the successor is going to be at InfoWars. And of course, at one time I thought maybe it would be Owen Schroyer when he was like in sound mind before he went black-pilled.
Or Anthony Gucciardi, or any number of people that have sat in that second seat.
Any number of people, right? Or maybe some of the people that he's brought on as a guest, even, that have been a regular guest. But this shocked me to the core, because Rex said this was a great idea. And he says that it's most likely going to be Nick Fuentes. And I could not believe that, dude. That is insane. Nick Fuentes? The jock? Leading InfoWars? I don't think so, man. I sure hope not.
Yeah, I mean, everything they've ever said about Alex Jones, with all through the years, the last 30 years, I've said, you're wrong. You don't know anything about Alex Jones. If you think he's a Nazi, if you think he's a modern day Hitler or whatever, you're just an idiot. That I would have to eat my words on every one of those if Nick Fuentes got in there. An actual Nazi, an actual nut job who has no place in civilized society. Right.
I mean, we really should put together a 1-minute compilation of just him saying crazy stuff, because the dude is so far out there. You know, he'll go on InfoWars with Alex Jones and he's quite tame. You know what I'm saying? Because he's on his best behavior. But if you're listening to his podcast where he's just on his own, he's bonkers, man. I mean, completely bonkers.
Yeah. I would never listen to him if he had a 3-hour show. Nobody would. He's got his little goipers, his little neo-Nazi goipers who, hate Israel and, blame anything on the Jews because it's just easy to blame the Jews because, they did everything. They control everything. So let's blame the Jews. The Jews did it. Jews, Jews, Jews. It's easy to blame, if your life sucks, it's easy to just point at one group of people and say they did it. It's their fault. Mm-hmm. But it's not how the world works, man. It's just not how the world works. No. And so, if they want to go down that route, it'd be the end of InfoWars, because a lot of people who have been moderate through the years who followed them and just said, hey, man, if you really think that about Alex Jones, you're barking up the wrong tree. You got nothing. You don't know who the guy is. Go listen to him.
And let's keep in mind it's Rex Jones, Alex's son, who said that, not Alex. I don't know that Alex actually wants to have Nick Fuentes as the head of InfoWars, or it wouldn't even be if InfoWars gets closed, because Alex says InfoWars is getting closed any moment now again because they're letting him know that that's what's going to happen. But he'll have the Alex Jones network. So if they close InfoWars, then the successor, whenever Alex decides to step down, would be on the Alex Jones network, which would still be the same thing as InfoWars. It'd just be a different name, and it won't be owned by Alex. He'll just be the head of it, or whoever takes it over will be the head of it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't see it being that guy.
I hope not.
We've also got Joe Kent, who's kind of going down the same road. Man. Okay, so he was the former head of the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, Joe Kent. He just stepped down because of the war in Iran. And he was willing now. He wants to go to Tyler Robinson, the dude who killed Charlie Kirk. He's willing to testify on his behalf in his trial. And he's suggesting that there's some foreign involvement in Kirk's assassination, which is just going down the Candace Owens rabbit hole, right? The guy I'm so glad he's out of office right now. I'm just so glad. This guy could seriously put that credibility of a doubt into the jury's minds that, hey, the former counterintelligence, former director of National Counterterrorism Center came on the jury, into the trial and said on the Bible that he, thinks there was other things going on and there was other people involved. And, I saw no action being taken to look into it. That could suddenly get this guy off. It could get Charlie Kirk's assassin freed. When this is such an open and shut case, people from Charlie Kirk's team have come out and said, this is disgusting. It's reprehensible. It's wrong. You have no idea. You're part of the National Counterterrorism Center. You're not part of the FBI. You weren't in the rooms. You don't know what investigations they are and are not doing. I mean, they're pissed. Charlie's friends, the people that really, were his friends at Turning Point USA are just, they're just getting mud slung at them all day long, every day. It's got to be sickening. And I can't wait for the defamation trials to begin, starting with Candace. She had her chance. Erica talked to her, said, hey, man, take it down a notch, would you? You were supposed to be a friend of Charlie's. You claim you are a friend of Charlie's, but you're not. If you're behaving like this, you're no friend of Charlie's.
Okay. I think that's okay.
I don't know. It gets me pissed off when it gets into what happened to Charlie, because it was so straightforward. He confessed to it multiple times.
I think there's a little bit more nuance to it than that, in my opinion. I don't doubt that he was the one that pulled the trigger. I tend to think that there was more involved, and there were people that were predicting that he would be shot before. And I'm not totally fresh on it, so I'm kind of giving you just, what I recall.
Well, the people that we're talking about in the background were part of that furry, weirdo LGBT, Utah group, the gun club, right? Yeah, he probably had some help from them. He probably had some internal, things going on to help him get the gun, to get the briefings, to get the, where to go, how to shoot him. He probably didn't act alone. But to suggest, it's Israel all of a sudden, that Israel wanted Charlie Kirk dead is stupid.
I don't know what Ken has said as far as that goes, so I can't really comment on that. But here's my understanding from what I've heard, is that there was intel that there was possibly other further domestic involvement as well as foreign involvement, and that it was Kash Patel, who I don't trust at all, that put a stop to that. And maybe Pam Bondi was part of that as well. And I think Tulsi Gabbard was also looking into possible foreign involvement and further domestic involvement, and people within the Trump administration, from my understanding, Kash Patel and possibly Pam Bondi shut that down. I don't like that. That's suspicious to me. So I'm kind of in the middle ground of what you're saying and what everybody else is saying on the other side. I want to know exactly why that was shut down. You got to investigate thoroughly. And Charlie would.
Yeah, I don't know if it was shut down, though. That's the point, right? Was it shut down?
That's what
we don't know. You're not in the FBI. I'm not in the FBI,
Well, you have. You have testimony from Kent, and he is somewhat reliable. I mean, he does have a history of, being somewhat reliable, whether you agree with his position or not. I mean, he's the guy that revealed to us that Joe Biden let in 1,800 domestic terrorists, right? I commend him for that. Yeah. I don't understand is why Biden hasn't been court-martialed, if that's true. This is what I don't understand. You get all this stuff coming out all the time, and we haven't gotten any arrests yet. We have to get arrests, man. Yeah. I mean, imagine if the Democrats were in.
And I think we will, Barry. I think they're going to come down on July 4th, every half hour on the half hour. But for now, we've got to go to break. So let's take a break right now. This is a Censorship Sucks Roundtable radio show, and we'll be right back after these messages.
All right, we're on radio break. Wow.
Good radio.
And for any of you wondering out there, we take our break at 4:25 Mountain Standard Time, and it's exactly 4:25 and 23 seconds. I wasn't cutting Barry off from what he was saying. I would never do that, but we do have to take our breaks at specific times.
Yeah. Well, I was playing
don't ever accuse me of trying to take a break to shut somebody up.
I know. I was playing a clip for a friend of mine, and he was like, "Did he just try to cut you off?" I was like, "No, dude. It's a break. We're on the radio, dude."
The breaks are hard.
Don't get all defensive, man. I appreciate you being, but it's cool. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, and we can come right back and pick up where we were. I mean, that's the other thing, right?
I mean, yeah, you and I can have massive civil discourse, man. You know what I'm saying? It's unlike most people, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying you're wrong and I'm right. I'm just saying I got some questions still, man. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you're wrong. I'm right. I'm saying it.
All right. Well, you're wrong. I'm right.
Hey, he's taking the host privilege, all right?
There you go,
You don't have to say it. Everyone knows it.
Yeah. Well, no, dude, it proves that we're not, pre-scripting stuff. You know what I mean? I think that's, important. Yeah. And
Barry.
And nobody...
Barry,
and we're not pre-scripting anything. Yeah.
You're missing the bullhorn tonight.
Well, I can break it out, man. At the end,
you're late on the draw. All right. Earlier, there would have been some really good times for it to be brought right out. I'm like, you were pretty fired up. I'm not saying it won't happen again. I won't, because I know you. I know
you've been more fired up than me tonight. John has. He's been passionate tonight, man. And I like to see that, dude. I like to see him get passionate. I really do. I think that's what's missing, passion. People don't have any more passion anymore. Just imagine. Can you imagine living life without passion and just walking around like a normie zombie, just like, and then having the crazy, horrible 9-to-5 job, going home tired and weak and eating processed foods and, and waking up and hating the morning. I mean, come on, man. You got to have some passion and some fire.
Yeah.
It's like the life of and at least the left has that. It's like demonic fire. It's like demonic evil, but at least they have some passion.
But you can tell it's paid passion.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You can tell that they have a separate or separate agenda or agendas to add to that. Where we're just here raw.
Well, if the doom and gloomers are correct, we're totally screwed, man, because there's no more good in the world if that's the case.
Yep.
If Trump is the worst president ever, we're in trouble because there's.
Well, I don't know. Maybe the UFO documents will come out and Avilo is right, and they'll find someone to pick us the good people up and take us someplace nice. But anyways, I don't go for the no love probe things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
What do we got? 30 minutes? Well, actually, probably less than 30 minutes. Actually, how many minutes do we have left? Like 20, 24 minutes or
25.
something? Yeah, 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gone by fast tonight, man.
Yeah, that last segment came up on me like out of nowhere.
Super fast, yeah. Kind of like the first segment did with me. I'm like, I spilled something, and I'm like, oh no. I was trying to clean it up, and I'm like, oh no, break. Well, we're under 30 seconds, and we should be back up and running here real soon. And I will use a 5.
10-4, good buddy. It's time to break out the bullhorn.
And here it comes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you're back live for the last segment right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hour 2 of the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. So we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, but let's talk about it again in a little more detail here, because I just got a new clip here on my hot little hands. So Trump put out a 15-point offer for a ceasefire for Iran. Ceasefire. And it took them all of, from 10:43 to 11:06 a.m. Boom. They rejected it. And then they put together a list of demands that they want, which are just ridiculous. They're acting like, and they're telling the people that they've kicked our butt, that we are losing. They have taken nothing, no losses. America has lost everything. We have no more army. We have no more navy, no air force. They've taken it all out and they're winning. And so, I don't know. They're delusional. Carolyn Levitt put out a statement right here, hot little hands, fresh off the press.
If Iran fails to accept the reality of the current moment, if they fail to understand that they have been defeated militarily and will continue to be, President Trump will ensure they are hit harder than they have ever been hit before. President Trump does not bluff, and he is prepared to unleash hell. Iran should not miscalculate again. Their last miscalculation cost them their senior leadership, their Navy, their Air Force, and their air defense system. Any violence beyond this point will be because the Iranian regime refused to understand they have already been defeated and refused to come to a deal.
Wow. Not beating around the bush there, huh?
I would say not. She's hitting
not,
man, straight up.
You've already lost, everything. And you want to go for more?
Well, Trump doesn't want to hit the power that they have because that could be just really detrimental. So he's been warning them, and they would be stupid to just keep ignoring, a possible deal.
And it seems like they are. They're just stubborn here in this. And good luck to you. That's not going to work. It's not going to work out well for you. In fact, it's going to backfire spectacularly if you keep trying to go down this route. And, if I see him acting on that, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not going to be upset. I'm going to say they asked for it. They had it coming. He gave him an out. He got so many outs here. Just give the country back to its people. That's all we ask. That's all we're looking for here, is that the people of Iran get to rule themselves in a democratic society. Mm-hmm. It's not rocket science. It's not hard. it sucks for you if you're a mullah and you make $100 billion a year doing nothing.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
Yeah, boy, you're going to lose your private 747 and your home in Switzerland and all the other things that you get as a mullah.
They get lots of moolah. The moolah does.
Exactly.
I heard that Russia was actually supplying like weaponry to Iran. So maybe they're emboldened by that a little bit or something. They think they've got a strong ally. I don't know if that's true. I saw that in a headline. But if true, man, that's not good. Trump should be on the phone with Putin and say, man, you better knock that off.
Yeah, if Russia really wants to go down that road, I mean, they're already stretched to the max on their military. They've been at war for, 4 years now? You know?
Yeah.
Forever with Ukraine. I mean, this thing's gone on forever. And they've lost, 1 million people? Some stupid number. And they think they're going to now, fight for Tehran in Tehran where even the people there don't want you? Good luck, Russia. Good luck.
Yeah, it's just hard to tell what's true and what's not true these days, man, because, we're just being fed what they think we need to know, which may be not much of anything or not even the truth. I don't know. It's hard to really tell, especially when it comes to the fake news. I mean, I trust the alternative media a little bit more than I do the fake news media, the establishment media. I mean, they lie about everything, completely lie about everything. And they don't even tell you what's going on in the world. I mean, have you even heard much about the strange weather in Hawaii, the floods? I've heard very little about it in the mainstream media, which is a pretty big thing because it's not typical to have those kind of floods in Hawaii, period. So,
yeah. I haven't. I've only heard that, I don't know, some celebrity had to leave his home. Is about the only thing I've read about that.
Yeah.
Maumoa or some dude.
Houses are collapsing into the water because of the water causing, the buildings, the houses that are, on higher ground, they're falling into the water, man. It's just awful, dude. It's really bad, and I just heard nothing about it.
And Hawaii is a very interesting place because it's got one of the rainiest places on the planet and one of the driest places, not in the planet, but a very, and parts of Maui are very, very dry.
Right.
Whereas Kauai is one of the rainiest places on the planet, the summit of the mountain. So it's got places that can absorb all that water and other places that don't get it as much right next to each other. You know what I mean? They're 10 miles away in some cases. So it's interesting. It's just such a diverse, wild, beautiful place that, folks, if you've never been to Hawaii, do it. Just go. You don't need a passport. You don't need anything. Just hop on a plane. And, it's a wonderful, wonderful place to go. Be as far away as you can, but still be in America, I can't stress the beauty of Hawaii. The ocean is insane, Rent a snorkel and some fins and just sit out in the bay all day and just look at the fish. You'll have the best time of your life.
Catch you some fish. Go spear fish hunting.
Yeah, just not at the beaches. You need to go, away from other people.
Well, yeah, that would be a good idea. I would agree with that.
Yeah. I think I got a walrus.
Well, it may not be reaching the headlines just because there's so many crazy crises happening all the time now. People are under crisis fatigue and maybe they feel like people don't need to know about it. But we do need to know about it because, generally speaking, I guess you can rely on FEMA to some degree or what have you. But, it's the people that usually give the donations that help out. And so I haven't really, but I don't listen to much of the mainstream media. So maybe I'm just, maybe they are reporting on it a lot, and I don't know because I don't listen to it much. Yeah,
it's a wild, wild world. I don't even know who said that, but yeah, it's a wild world. But Cat Stevens.
Okay.
But anyway, let's get to this article here in the Right Scoop. Despicable video: Muslim terrorist supporters in Philadelphia rally for U.S. military to come back in body bags. They're here on the streets of Philly in front of what looks like a statue of Benjamin Franklin, right downtown.
Okay.
And they're saying how, until we have until we have done everything in our power, we must fight the U.S. government. May a rocket bomb your family's home. We want our service members to come home in body bags. And they're out there saying this to a crowd of like 50 people in Philadelphia on the streets in the middle of the day.
And how many
shocking
people
video
gathered out? How many people are we talking? 50, 100, like what?
About 50,
That's 50.
around them that I could see.
Yeah, that's 50 too many. I mean,
Yeah, not huge, but 50 too many. But again, brazen, just out there supporting things that are actual terrorisms. You know what I mean? You're openly supporting terrorism in America on the streets, and yet they claim Trump is a king and he's a dictator. And if he was, you wouldn't be saying this on the streets. Try doing this in Cuba. See how long he lasts.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's a crazy video. I wish I could play more of it for you guys, but it's just profanity laden.
Well, it makes you want,
but go check it out.
It's paid.
Laden.
How much of that is paid? Well, it makes you want to
check it out.
It's paid. I mean, because how much of that is paid? Well, it makes you want to I mean, because come back in body bags and would even have the gall to say that in public, because that would, I mean, seriously, you're going to get seriously chastised by people verbally for saying something so horrible. You're a horrible, terrible person. Even if the war is just, you are still a terrible person for saying such a thing.
Yeah, and I mean, like you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. At what point does it become, illegal to? I'm all for free speech, but at what point does that become illegal to stand in front of 50 people on a sidewalk and root for those types of things? It's wild stuff. We're seeing it in the UK as well. The Islamists there versus the Persians, say, the Iranians versus the IRGC backers. They're much smaller in numbers, IRGC backers, but they're violent. And you can kind of see how they take control over there, because, they're the minority, but they're violent, man. They just get in your face and they want to take you out. There's a hatred in their eyes that you just don't see from the average human. Yeah. And you can only get by being in some deranged cult like that,
It is a cult for sure. That's cult-like thing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Trump has missed a major opportunity with all of the insanity that comes from the left. Like, he should really have fireside chats where they have videos that play and show, what's really happening. Because, when the media spins something like that, if they even report on it, they'll somehow manage to say it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. You know what I'm saying? They'll paint it in a totally different way than it actually happened. And so people stay in the dark. So Trump needs to take advantage of the lunacy of the left and have fireside chats where maybe once a month he spends 10, 15 minutes with somebody else and they talk about what the opposition is doing and showing it to the people so that they get that Trump is the good guy and the far left and the Democrats that are in charge are nutso.
I love the idea of the fireside chat. I think it should be at least once a week. And I would love it if you brought on Joe Rogan one-on-one every week. Yeah. I'll give you an hour a week, Joe. If you need more time, we'll do more time. But you get an hour a week every week, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern or whatever, sometime when everyone can see it. And just go through it all. What questions are you getting? What do you want to know? What's everyone thinking? Tell me the crazy and we'll dispel it and just let's get to what's really happening here, Joe. Because people would respond to that. They would understand Joe Rogan and they would treat it like, okay, this is somebody I trust going in there and getting the scoop directly from Donald Trump as it is. Is he lying to you? I don't know, whatever. That's up to you to decide. But for the most part, at least you'd have that idea. So I think that's a great idea, Barry.
I mean, I think a lot of people have been saying it would work. But maybe the Trump administration also sees that it could have a downside and be dangerous. You know what I'm saying, to do that. I don't know why they don't do it. Every now and then Stephen Smith or Caroline, she'll come out and they'll play a video clip and they'll discuss what's going on. But it's not done enough, man. I mean, he has the perfect opportunity having the bully pulpit, the presidential pulpit, to where he can expose all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't even need the mainstream media to report on it because we've got X and we've got other avenues.
Yeah, you can sit down with Elon. or just like have a rotation. Like every week, it's a different person. Elon, Joe Rogan, whoever else you want to put in that list. But they get to just ask him what's going on, and I think that's phenomenal. It's been done in the past with great success, and he should consider doing it as well because a lot of people are just nuts out there. Or at least through the midterms. After the midterms, I doubt he cares. You know what I mean? Whatever. I'm done. I'm too busy for this.
Yeah.
But
well, I guess it's up to us, right? Like the radio show here and people that are influencers on X and Truth Social and Minds.com and all the different avenues that we have where we can have free speech. It's speak now or forever hold your peace, man. I think Trump may have his hands full and is doing all that he can possibly do with all the sabotage that's coming from without and from within. So maybe that's why it's not happening, which is just like Trump has said from day one. Hey, man, you guys have to be involved. We have to really speak up. We have to really speak out because once the Democrats were to ever take back over again, forget about free speech, forget about your voice being heard. It's over, man. They will not allow it, dude. We know that to be a fact just based on their behavior now and then what they did under the Biden regime. It will be Biden 2.0 and worse.
Yeah. And just remember how bad that was, folks. They had, people from the White House calling up people at X, Twitter at the time, Facebook,
right,
as well. All these different social media sites saying, you take this down, you MF. Why isn't this down? I told you to take it down. You get this down. You delete that person from your platform and blackball them for life.
Yep.
Somebody from the White House calling, you're like vice president or whatever content at Twitch, and you get that call from the White House. I mean, you would hang up shaking.
Yeah.
What do I do? Immediately you're calling the boss's boss's boss. You know what I mean? To say, what do I do? But you're freaking out. They've got your direct number at this point. So, yeah, think about how bad it was, folks. You don't even know the half of it. The inflation at 9% isn't even a start.
Yeah.
They wanted high gas prices.
It's a global agenda to silence us, especially in America. Look, they're already doing it in the UK. We talk about it all the time. 30 plus arrests per day for people that just have a different opinion that the government doesn't like. They're going to jail. They're arresting them. They're terrorizing the people. And yet
It's just summer.
Kia Sama!
Yeah, the UK's off the hilt, man. They're broken. And even Tommy Robinson now is saying, man, it's too late. We could have done something 10 years ago, but it's too late. We passed the point of no return.
He's living in America now. That ought to tell you pretty much everything, dude. He's saying, oh, I love it.
He's here.
Huh?
He's here. He doesn't live there. He's here now in the USA. He doesn't live here, though. He's not given up his citizenship. He's been very specific about that. But he's also been very specific that he can't believe how free he feels in the United States. Versus
he's residing here for the time being. I'm not saying citizen, but he's like living currently. Yeah. This is where he's residing because he feels safer here, obviously.
Yeah. And May 16th, he's got a massive rally coming up in the UK. So folks, get ready for that. Tune into that. Give them their eyeballs. Last time he did one of these, I mean, they had 100,000 people there, if not 200, and like another million watching it. So he knows how to put on a really good performance, a rally, and expect that on steroids this time around. It's going to be really, really good. But anyway, in the limited time we have left, I just want to make sure we have enough time to give this next story the time it might need to percolate. So I'm reading from Twitchy here. Mm-hmm. Quadruple amputee cornhole pro, quadruple amputee allegedly shoots victim and drives off in a Tesla with said victim in the car. They describe this story is crazy. It doesn't even feel like all these words in the sentences belong together. But according to Fox News, they do. Quadruple amputee professional cornhole player accused of murdering someone before driving off in his Tesla. Dayton Weber, 27, no arms, no legs, and was featured on ESPN, is accused of shooting a 27-year-old during an argument. And police say Weber put him in the back of his Tesla and drove off. Now, there's a video of this guy loading and shooting a gun as a quadruple amputee. I want to know, did they throw him in handcuffs? How does that work?
It's a strange story, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to comment.
Exactly. I don't know if this story needs the next 15 minutes or if we should have given it the whole 2 hours tonight. Or, if there's just nothing, you just scratch your head and say, what? How does a guy drive a Tesla? Is it just straight up auto drive? Does he have a system set up where the pedals are extended up and he can, reach them with his thighs?
He's got a Neuralink, man. It's all Neuralink.
How did he get the body into the car? He shot the guy. Oh, wow. I mean, he's in here using a gun, and it's not like he's quick draw. You know what I mean? It's not like he's, if he was in the Old West and he had to draw his gun and shoot, he probably, other than the fact that he's like 3 feet tall, he stood a tremendous disadvantage in that. On and on and on. This story is crazy. I guarantee you're going to be hearing more about this down the road. All I can say right now is I'm stumped.
I get it. Is this a joke, man? Did this actually happen, or is this a censorship sucks made up story?
I swear to God, folks, this is all over the news. It's not made up. It is real. It's all over the news.
It's Israel. It happened in Israel. What?
What? No, it didn't.
Oh, it's real. I thought you said Israel. Never mind.
No, it is
They
real.
try to
It
confuse
is
people.
real.
Okay. I thought maybe you
It
turned
didn't happen in Israel.
I thought maybe you'd gone all Owen Schroyer on me.
No, it's Willie's going to talk about it on Sunday night.
I bet. I can only imagine. I'll have to tune in for that. That sounds, I don't know, mentally challenging, maybe.
We've had Michael the Midget on the show. Now maybe we need Andy the Amputee.
I'm sure there's going to be calls to cancel the Censorship Sucks radio show for Sunday. I just have a feeling.
What wasn't Michael's brother an amputee too, or something like that? Part of the Cogene twins, or how did that go?
He was a congealed twin, who was separated, but that's neither here nor there, Mark. No, this is a actual story. It I don't see what city it took place in. The quick scan of this article, I don't think it mentions it. I'm sure if I dove further, but American Cornhole League he's part of. How is he a professional cornhole player?
I'm afraid to say I don't even know what a cornhole player is.
Oh, you don't know what cornhole is?
I just don't. I'm sorry.
It's the two wooden planks that are like 20 feet apart. It's like horseshoes, but you'd have a beanbag, and you try to get it in the hole.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with the game. Yeah. Okay.
So he played that professionally. So he made a living playing cornhole. No arms and no legs.
Well, you got to hand it to him. Never mind. That was wrong. I was going to say, you got to hand it to him for doing it, but that didn't come out right, so I apologize.
No, that was a good, I like that. I like that. You were on point with that one. Even though you didn't mean to do it, I think I'm still
exactly
supportive of it.
We're out of control. It's amazing. Anyway, go ahead. Finish up, man. Go for it.
Anyway, that's all I've really got on that one. I mean, I don't know what else we're going to add to that.
With that, yeah. What? I don't know what more you can say. It doesn't make any sense. Maybe somebody will explain it to us at some point in time.
Mm-hmm. On another note, in the final couple minutes we have, Gateway Pundit has, after years of litigation in which the Gateway Pundit founder and publisher Jim Hoft was lead plaintiff, Missouri v. Biden, the case experts said was the most important free speech case in recent history, has settled between the government and Hoft and other plaintiffs. The government admits that unrelenting pressure from certain government officials likely had the intended result of suppressing millions of protected free speech postings by American citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. The government, quote, the government cannot take actions, formal or informal, directly or indirectly, to threaten social media companies without some form of punishment unless they remove, delete, suppress, or reduce content containing protected free speech. The parties agree that modern technology does not alter the government's obligation to abide by the structures of the First Amendment. That is in the concession that the government made. Folks, that is it right there. That is case law coming down saying that the government cannot take actions, formal, informal, directly or indirectly, to threaten social media companies with some form of punishment unless they remove, delete, suppress, or reduce content containing protected free speech. The government can't do it anymore. They did it openly for the Biden years. They did it openly behind Trump's back. They did it openly with Obama. Now it is forever forbidden, and the world will be a better place for it.
Yeah, but I think states will try to do it, man. They'll go state sovereignty. We don't believe. I mean, if the Democrats get the power back, or where the Democrats have the power, they'll say, well, we don't believe that's constitutional. We already know they don't respect the Supreme Court, man. They want to stack it.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to. The minute they get the both House, Senate, President, boom, all bets are off. They will stack the Supreme Court. They will add 8 more states. They will gerrymander everything. They will change this government in so much of a crazy direction that anybody on the North American continent will be able to vote in our elections. You know, they're going to mail ballots to Cuba and Venezuela and Honduras and let anybody in North America vote. Why not? Why not? What do they care? Folks, it'll be an ugly sight if they ever get full control of the government back. But on that note, we should probably wrap it up here. Barry, where can people find you online?
Find me on X, Bullhorn Barry, and I just got a few things to say. Now's the time that we speak up. We've got to get out there. We got to come in at a crossroads. We cannot back down. We must speak up now or forever hold our peace.
All right, folks, this has been the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. We got to end it here, but stay tuned. There's much more coming from our producer, Mark, tonight. Otherwise, we will see you on Sunday night. Thanks for listening.
All right. You guys did a great job. Thanks.
Thank you, man. Thanks for everyone listening out there in the webosphere, the interwebs.
The interwebs.
The wires.
Yep. I'm going to get Jack up and going here, and I will talk to you guys on Sunday.
All right, man.
Take
Have
care.
a great day, everybody.
See you, Mark.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right. Hold tight. We got Paranormal Intelligence Agency coming right up.
Good evening.
Hey, Jack. How's it going?
Oh, crap. Trying to fix my camera here.
Hold on. Gotta fix our, there we go. There's the OBS fixed. Okay.
Sweet.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. You know how my time is. It's been crazy.
Yep.
Getting everything done, man. But how's your week been going?
Been going pretty good. Looks like a short night for me. After you, I'm done for the night pretty much. Other than I'm encoring Nancy because she's got something going on tonight.
Oh, okay.
So something. Where'd you go?
I'm here.
I see your camera there, but no Jack.
I don't know. I don't know why it's not showing.
You're
me.
not close enough to the camera.
Hang on a second. Why isn't that working? That doesn't make any sense. That's interesting. It's not showing me I'm the Invisible Man tonight.
Yeah, the invisible guy. Well, part of your hand showed up there.
Yeah, I'm putting my hand in front of the camera and everything. Weird. Let me. Again.
So what we got for tonight, Jack?
Tonight, I've got an interesting show. We're going to assess where we are in the paranormal universe. I'm going to offer the listeners a parallax view of everything, basically, and we're going to explain and discuss in detail the two most disturbing cases ever recorded in paranormal research. They proved the case in point.
Sounds great.
So, yep, the Guaraparanga, Brazil human mutilation case and the Dyatlov Pass incident. Can't see.
Roger's restreaming us tonight. So is the Great Conspiracy.
Nice. Wish I had a video feed for them, but they got a view of the outside of the bunker there.
Yeah, you could put that up. Put your slideshow up.
That's it right there. That's you're seeing the outdoors of the missile silo. Let's see.
I think you got to take the what's that thing called? There you go.
Can you see me now?
No.
Anybody? That's really weird.
Yeah.
It has to be something with their connection because my camera is on. Everything is set just right. Otherwise, you wouldn't even see the background there.
Yeah.
Here, I'll change it to. We're blasting through space currently.
There you go. Get ready for your countdown because it's coming right up. Like
Okay.
right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Jack, you're live for the very first time tonight, right about now.
Welcome back, everybody, to Paranormal Intelligence Agency Radio Live. We're broadcasting from 300 feet deep in an abandoned nuclear missile silo somewhere lost in the post-apocalyptic wastelands of the Dakota Territories, and I am joined, as always, by the paranormal crime-fighting duo, Daisy and the Sundance Kid. We're working security in the silo tonight, and tonight we're going to be discussing... I'm going to offer you guys the parallax view. That's the subject and the title of this evening's broadcast, the parallax view. We're going to talk about the overall view of where we are right now in space and time on this crazy planet I like to call the Great Space Roller Coaster. And we are currently in the great upswing of the Kali Yuga. If you don't know what that means, then you have tuned in to the right program. We are going to educate you this evening on all things paranormal. I have had a bit of a cold this week, so you'll have to pardon me when I wet my whistle here, but that's the way things go on live radio, and it's been a crazy week here in the bunker. We, down in the silo, we've been getting lots of work done, been getting lots of painting done, and finally put the finishing touches on one today that I like to call the dance. Maybe I'll get an image and it'll be up on the archived part of the program at some point. But tonight, we're going to talk about the two most disturbing cases in paranormal research. In 30 plus years of paranormal research, I came across two cases that are the most disturbing and offer some unique perspective, perhaps, in the form of personal cases that I worked that are related to these two most disturbing cases. So if you've not heard of the Guaraparanga, Brazil human mutilation case, or the Dyatlov Pass incident in Russia, then you are in for a treat, because there is really nothing creepier in paranormal research than those two cases when they're examined in totality. And we'll get to that this evening, because they are really part of the parallax view. They are standout anomalies, right? And then the reality matrix, the materium that we are in, it's not the static normality around you that you study in order to get to the truth of the nature of the fabric of that reality. You study the anomalies. And chief among those anomalies are these two cases. And we're going to be getting to that this evening. But boy, what a crazy week in the crypto and precious metals market. If you've been following the show, you know that we cover such matters because we had many paranormal channels pointing us in the direction and the cyber prophecy that silver would become unobtainium. This would be timed with release of back-engineered technology, along with the Webbot's prediction of sci-fi world emerges. And I've explained what the Webbot is in minute detail over many broadcasts. So if you don't know what that is, just know that it is a algorithm designed long ago that studied the collective psychic abilities of the human species and made predictions according to that. That's really it in a nutshell. And that seemed to coincide perfectly with a lot of other avenues of intelligence, including and importantly, including the greater body of CIA trained remote viewers over the course of many decades now of time. Many of them have left the CIA over time. They form their own groups. These groups now do individualized targeting, as well as for corporations, governments, militaries, etc. And many of their predictions matched perfectly with things that the Webbot predicted long ago. And because of that, it led us into the so-called crazy world of cryptocurrencies and precious metals, in particular silver. Although lately I have been very interested in gold just because of the fluidity of that market. But it has been cyber prophesied, if you will, that silver will in time become so-called unobtainium. In other words, you simply will not be able to get your hands on it. There's many different reasons for this. Chief among those is the fact that the gold to silver ratio has really dropped over time. It used to be something crazy like 60 to 1, and now it's more like 6 to 1. In other words, it used to take like the same amount of effort. You could get one piece of gold, you could get like 60 pieces of silver. Now that ratio is down to 6 to 1, right? But that difference has not been reflected in the price. There's a lot of reasons for that. The most important reason from a paranormal perspective is the idea, the conspiratorial theory the interesting financial rabbit hole that one goes down when you begin to hear the rumors out there all over the place that the silver market is widely manipulated and has been for a long, long time. There, basically, the entire underpinning of the global bankster elite cabal that has had a stranglehold on the rest of the species for so many a decade have done it with the pin, if you will, the linchpin of the silver market. Without that, none of the rest of their manipulations could work. And because of the fact that silver is becoming very hard to find, at a time when many of them have manipulated the market in a way where they were short millions and millions of ounces of silver, has created an environment where there are explosive moves in both directions. It's like watching a huge battle take place every single day on your screen if you're into watching that kind of thing. And just know this, that the fate of the entire so-called Rex-Dew family lineages that have controlled the baking industry since its inception by the Templar Knights, their control is really at risk. Without control of that particular market, they will lose control over everything else. It's that important. It is the domino. If you can get that domino to fall and you watch silver rise to the point of unobtainium, then you're going to see a complete implosion of the past globalist cabal system and the banking system that they have used to enchain the rest of humanity. That's how important it is. So all of that has led us into this crazy world of the, well, cryptocurrencies and precious metals, and the conspiratorial world, if you will, unfolding right in front of our eyes in real time, watching it tick by tick. That's a fascinating place to be. And that, my friends, is sort of what I refer to as the parallax view. I discussed previously the idea that there was a huge deleveraging event that occurred in October, specifically October the 10th. And this was in all kinds of financial markets, but it began in the stablecoin market. Whoever that was able to engineer the timing of that particular glitch in the system that caused a historic cascade of leveraged trades to basically eliminate $1 trillion or more of wealth right out of the system and basically be in a position to benefit from it. That, my friends, is what I refer to as the man in the high castle. Man in the high castle has the ability of the parallax view at all times. The parallax view being the 30,000 foot bird's eye view of the whole puzzle. When you look into the world of intelligence gathering and military secrets and things like that, you discover that there are all kinds of so-called compartmentalization of information. Very few security clearances are high enough to where the person that possesses them is able to see all of the pieces of the puzzle at once. Imagine having the ability to use perhaps the World Wide Web and artificial intelligence and algorithms and what have you, to be able to channel such accurate information to yourself that it becomes an order of magnitude higher than that anybody else has achieved. And along with that comes this, accumulation, the ability to accumulate vast amounts of money. To a point to where you can use those vast amounts to actually manipulate various markets if you know what you're doing. That kind of is what the October the 10th deleveraging event appears to have been. And what that does is it points in the direction of the idea that there is, in fact, a man in the high castle. That somebody somewhere is actually living that role. And who knows, maybe it's one of those things where it changes from time to time, from person to person, as they're able to maneuver into such a way that they're able to obtain that kind of information and able to actually use it as, what they call intelligence, but active intelligence, usable intelligence. And a lot of that comes down to timing. And what creates the best timing? The best information. That's what I'm talking about. But from the paranormal perspective, I refer to this as the parallax view. And the parallax view is one that's a little disconcerting when you begin to look at all the various pieces of the puzzle that make up where humanity is right now in this space, in this time, on this planet, in this universe, and in this material. That is the parallax view. And by that, I mean, like Graham Hancock likes to put it, we are a species with amnesia. More disturbingly than that, it appears as though it's a forced amnesia. In other words, somebody somewhere in a much higher pay grade than ours has gone to great lengths in order to cover up the true history of humanity. The answer to why that would be the case really is the answer to most of the mysteries on this planet. Why would somebody have a vested interest in making an entire species forget their true history? What advantage would that give over time? Those are the kinds of questions that we have to begin to analyze, and we have to begin to test and examine in a scientific way. And this leads us into the pieces of the puzzle that we do have regarding man's ancient past. Right. We do have things like the ancient pyramids, and we do have, astrophysicist like information being deposited in ancient cultures around the world. We do have records of gods having walked among our early ancestors. We do have all kinds of interesting accounts of our early ancestors being taught so-called forbidden knowledge. Perhaps all of that plays a part into this idea that we have suffered a forced amnesia of some kind, that we no longer remember our true abilities, what we accomplished in the past, because perhaps that's too dangerous for the control mechanism that is currently in place. But where does that leave us in the world of studying anomalies, and how do we begin to assess what the anomalies really mean for our understanding of the material in this fabric of reality? And by that, I mean cases like the Guaraparanga human mutilation case and the Dyatlov Pass incident that occurred in Russia, where 9 hikers were basically, I won't call it butchered, but they were beat up to the point where they suffered wounds that the medical examiners described as being the same as like a car wreck. Crushed internal bones and organs and stuff like that. One lady was missing her tongue. Interesting. But we'll get to the details of both of those cases in a moment. We are a species living on a planet that apparently in the past was inhabited by a non-human intelligence. That non-human intelligence conveyed certain information to our early ancestors, and then, I suspect, went about building all of the many megalithic structures around the planet in order to contain, mathematically within them, the great secrets that they conveyed to our early ancestors through the mystery schools. It is also talked about in the Sumerian tablets, in the Book of Genesis, and the Book of Enoch, and many other ancient historical accounts that there was an interbreeding that took place. That interbreeding led, of course, to offspring. Those offspring were half whatever these creatures were and half human. They looked human. And they were placed in all of the various power positions around the planet. In other words, the Sumerian tablets talk about the very first so-called priest king of any city was referred to as Adamu, A-D-A-M-U, in the city of E.Den, or Eden. And it's interesting that it recounts how this occurred in all of the various kingdoms. In other words, the offspring of this interbreeding that took place ended up becoming the royal lineages of all of the different kingdoms around the world. This is the origin of the so-called dragon kings. This is how all of that began. And these offspring were gifted psychically. Today, the government likes to refer to that as psionics, but they had the ability to really kind of outthink the rest of the species, and they were able to take advantage of the rest of humanity in many different ways. One of those ways was the banking system. Also, it's interesting to note that it appears as though certain elements in the same ancient royal lineage, if you will, which today makes up roughly 200 families around the world, have elements in the aerospace industries and embedded in the government's SAP programs. So you're talking about people that have for centuries been able to utilize their positions in order to maintain not only power, but intelligence. I mean, what better way to maintain your power than through the ultimate tool of the intelligence agencies? That's how you do it. That's how you achieve superior information that is an order of magnitude higher than anyone else. it is in turn these SAP programs and the aerospace industry that has intelligence agents embedded within it that are in control of all of the back engineered alien technology that we are said to have accumulated over the many decades since Roswell, and even years before, we know now from the Trinity crash evidence. And whether or not this particular technology came from the same species that interbred with us, as recounted in the historical past, is a real up in the air kind of question. We just don't know the answer to that. In other words, we might be living on a planet that's so weird, in a reality matrix that's so weird, that we're a species living with amnesia controlled by a ancient royal lineage that was created by a species which isn't part of us through a financial mechanism that we simply cannot deal with, and on top of that, are openly within their circles, I suppose, and behind the scenes are actively recovering alien technology and back engineering it. All of this is happening at a time and at a place on a planet that is in a planetary periodic cycle called the Kali Yuga. And the Kali Yuga is a time and period when we begin to go through another golden age. All of these many forces are colliding right now, and it will soon be decided whether the sort of dark forces of a past age are able to cling on to power going into the upswing of the Kali Yuga, or if all of that will be broken into tiny little pieces and swept away by the true nature of the universe. In other words, we could be the big surprise, not the nefarious forces that are currently enslaving humanity. And that is sort of the parallax view. On top of that, we live on a paranormal planet. And it is a planet with interdimensional doorways. A planet with doorways to different places and different times, and that has actually been witnessed. And we're going to get back to all of this crazy talk right after our break.
All right, we're on radio break. Great job, Jack.
Cool.
Hey, have you caught a glimpse at any of those links I sent you on Facebook?
I haven't even been on Facebook
Yeah, I could tell for a long time.
Other than posting on a painting that I finished literally today, I have not even had time to do it. Be on there, so I'll do a big catch-up session pretty soon. And
yeah, there's some really crazy stuff. I don't know if it'll go out of date soon, so I hope you can get to them soon.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely look at. Maybe tonight I'll sit down.
Yeah, I sent you some South American Bigfoot type stuff, mostly.
Nice.
And there was some other stuff too in there that was very interesting as well.
There's been a lot of that going on as far as South America and Bigfoot.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to South America, I always think more of a dogman or werewolf type character down there prowling and creeping around.
Oh, yeah. Some of those
I know it's there too, but, it's not it doesn't seem as prevalent as, like, some of these Bigfoot sightings.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the type of Bigfoot too is it's described a lot different than the North American one. It's described more of a great ape.
I remember hearing a Amazon bush pilot who claims that he was flying up over a ridge and there was one of those creatures standing on the top of a tree, and he said that thing was absolutely enormous. He couldn't believe the size of it.
Yeah. Well, they seem to be thinner down there, but the age, no, well, not age, but the height range is still about the same. You know, as like the skunk ape,
Right.
which I found, you know, kind of interesting when they were comparing it. And then there's like a miniature version, like a pygmy species of Bigfoot that lived down there too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I never heard of it before until I started, you know, kind of digging into that. I was like, man, you know, because I got a little tired of the current event stuff, and I was like, man, let me see what's going on in cryptozoology. And I heard this one podcast, and I was like, and they were talking about these like pygmy species. They're only about 4 or 5 feet, well, 3 to 4 feet tall.
Uh-huh.
Looks almost just like a Bigfoot, but it has all the characteristics, but they're small, and they're kind of group. They work in groups, and the people down there gift them to keep them out of their homes and away from their property.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's been going on since, I guess, ever since the colonials and the indigenous have lived there.
It doesn't surprise me, and they're found on every continent worldwide. So
Yeah, but you don't hear too much about pygmy species
no, you don't. But you don't hear much coming out of that part of the world.
at all.
Period.
Yeah. Well, we got about 30 seconds, but I wanted to pass that on to you so that you can take and bookmark and tab that for later on. It's really interesting stuff.
I will check that out because that'd be a good topic for a book, actually.
Yeah, and well, I'll get you on the end of the show here. Here's your countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Jack, you are alive and back on the air right about now.
Welcome back, everybody, to Paranormal Intelligence Agency Radio Live. I'm your host, Jack Carey. I've got a face for milk cartons and a voice for smell-o-vision, and tonight we're talking about the parallax view. The idea that we're trying to seek out in a paranormal way higher magnitude of information by examining various puzzle pieces and how they might fit together and how this actually fits into our everyday reality. Crazy world we're living on. I just mentioned that we were living on a paranormal planet, and that is the title of my first book. You might want to check that out if you like to deep dive the subject matter. Paranormal Planet is available on Amazon along with my other books on the subject matter. And, you know, I talk about in Paranormal Planet the idea that, you know, not only are we a species with perhaps genetically altered and interbred with by another non-human species, and that they went about building megalithic structures to sort of encapsulate the so-called forbidden knowledge that they relayed to their offspring in mathematical form, and then they sort of just disappeared into history. I have my theories as to why that's the case, but ever since, their offspring have been in power on this planet. And that sort of feeds into my idea that the Earth itself is perhaps seeded by a Type 3 civilization on the so-called Kardashev scale. And not only that, but weirdly enough, we live on a planet that has interdimensional doorways. They appear to be naturally occurring. It looks as though the very structure of our planet lends itself to this kind of activity. It appears that a Russian research paper published in the 1960s titled "The Earth as a Large Crystal" may actually hold the key to the entire mystery of interdimensional doorways on this planet. The theory really works like this. In the early stages of the planetary development of the Earth, it was a large crystal. Over time and through spinning, it took on a round structure, but it wasn't perfectly round. There are areas where the surface sort of protrudes on this crystalline structure, the original structure. And today, those 12 places can be traced around the world as being the 12 so-called Devil's Triangles. They are the places where a heightened degree of paranormal activity takes place. And in my book, Paranormal Planet, I theorize a unified field theory of paranormal activity. It stipulates that there are only two forms of paranormal activity. One is Earth's interaction with a Type 3 civilization on the Kardashev scale, and the other is interdimensional in nature. Here we have a scientific paper which perfectly outlines how and why the structure of our planet can contain quartz crystal deposits that are so vast that when they are compressed through the Earth's movement through space, they become ionized, and when they become ionized, they emit so-called electromagnetic fields that are so strong that they can literally tear a hole in the fabric or membrane that separates our dimension from other dimensions. When this occurs, there is a moment action that takes place before the membrane can repair itself, and we refer to that interaction as paranormal in nature, when in fact it's actually a naturally occurring mechanism. On top of that, it appears as though from various government sources, including an FBI memo dated 1947, shortly after Roswell, and testimony from Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna in the last few months. How weird of a connection is that? Both of them point us in the direction that the government is aware that there are species in other dimensions that have figured out a way into this one. And that the visitors, as they like to refer to them, the creatures that keep coughing up crashed alien technology to us, and there's various theories as to why their craft are crashing. That particular species may actually originate from another dimension. In other words, our government may have technology in their hands that didn't even originate in this reality. Think about that. What if you could weaponize that? You would become, by default, the man in the high castle. So that's really what's at stake. There are certain insiders in the Pentagon's UFO program that have sort of put it out there in the ufology community that the reason why everything is kept such a secret is because there are enemies of the United States that also possess some of that technology and who are actively seeking to weaponize it. And so are we. That seems plausible. Is it true? I don't know. But that's part of the rabbit hole architecture that we can't get rid of. It's there whether we like it or not. On top of that, as I mentioned, the Earth is probably seeded and is owned by a so-called Type 3 civilization. And what is that? That simply goes to the great scientist Enrico Fermi's postulate that, and he had mathematical equations that proved it, that if you took the Drake equation, which calculates the number of intelligent civilizations that would develop within a galaxy over a given amount of time, according to all of their math, at least one of them would have been created long before humanity, so long that they would have been around for billions of years and would have survived it. They would have become so technologically advanced through the things like, artificial intelligence, von Neumann probes, which are self-replicating, AI, nanotechnology robots that you use if you're an intelligent species to go out and colonize space. If you take that theory that was put out by Enrico Fermi, what he basically says in his writings is that one of them would have survived long enough to have colonized the entire Milky Way galaxy. They would be in full control of it. Nothing would happen there without their say-so, and you would see evidence of it. It's a funny thing that Enrico Fermi wasn't paying attention to the modern-day UFO phenomenon. It never occurred to them that the creators, the progenitors, the ones who seeded this planet, didn't want one-on-one communication with us, at least not yet. Perhaps that's part of their entire farming process. But my theory is this. And Enrico Fermi was famous for saying that the absence of aliens on our doorstep is in itself significant. In other words, he was inferring that aliens couldn't exist because if they did, they would be here. Well, guess what, Enrico? They were and are here. What that means is that his mathematics are proven true. And along with that, it means that by proxy, there in fact has to be a Type 3 civilization in control of the Milky Way galaxy. And what do we see with the UFO phenomenon time and time again? What appear to be almost living craft, sentient, artificially intelligent, drone craft that are sent here from who knows how far away in order to perform functions on this planet that have to do with the farming of it. One of those functions is in testing the human food supply. And here is where you have the offshoot of the rabbit hole of not only cattle mutilations, but of human mutilations, apparently. And this brings up one of the two most disturbing cases I ever looked into. This is known among hardcore paranormal researchers as the Guaraparanga, Brazil human mutilation case. And what if I told you that I have the actual coroner's report in my possession from this case? Because here was an individual, male, human, discovered near a water reservoir completely exsanguinated, missing an eye, rectum cord out, half moon incision along the jawline, hair and skin fused together at 450 degrees. We're talking about a human that had all of the same wounds and the same MO as a cattle mutilation. Let that sink in. Not only that, but the coroner's report is fascinating. Says right in the report that the individual died from, quote, vital reaction. And what's a vital reaction? Because I had to look that up. That means that this guy was alive when they did it to him, and he died from the sheer amount of pain it caused. Not only that, but what if I told you that the coroner goes on to state that all of the wounds on the body of this individual were inflicted by a machine, and that it appears as though that machine was manufactured in order to do just that and nothing else? What about that? Because that implies somebody with a factory who's making something like that to perform a function like that. For what? A one-off case that we discovered? I doubt it. I doubt it. And alongside that, we have the cattle mutilation phenomenon, which mirrors the wounds on this individual. And we have a report from the National Institute for Discovery Science, which was founded by Robert Bigelow of Skinwalker Ranch fame and of Bigelow Aerospace, in which it states that they examined, at the behest of the U.S. government, the cattle mutilation phenomenon, and what they discovered was that it had to be some kind of testing of the food supply. That the food supply had to be contaminated. In this particular case, the beef supply. They were able to trace all of that to a scientist in 1970s in Fort Collins, Colorado, who injected wildlife with Kuru virus, and one of the deer from the facility escaped into the wild. It was the very next season that you began to see cases of chronic wasting disease in the wildlife population. Chronic wasting disease in the bovine or cattle population becomes what they call bovine encephalopathy spongiform. In other words, it becomes mad cow disease. The effects of mad cow disease are all subclinical before the 5th year. And we always butcher our cattle before that 5th year. Otherwise, you would see it. They were able to trace that to the meteoric rise of early onset dementia in the human population, something like 1,300%. Interesting, no? And here you have craft that are examining that on a planet that they seeded and a species that they own like a herd. That makes sense. That would make sense even to Enrico Fermi. Right? And then you have the second most disturbing case, which is the Dyatlov Pass incident, in which 9 hikers in Russia went missing. They eventually found their bodies on the so-called Mountain of the Dead. They were warned not to go there by the local indigenous Mansi people, And in the journal of one of the hikers, a female, she wrote, "Now we know the snowmen are real." When they examined the photographs taken by the camera that was recovered with one of the bodies, they discovered a photograph of what appeared to be a huge Russian Yeti-like creature peering out from a tree. Did that have a hand in their eventual death? Because it was only a couple of nights later, it appears, that they ended up camping in a wide open area away from the forest, exposed to the wind. Why would you do that in the middle of winter, away from the forest? And then they find the tent, and the tent has been cut from the inside so that whoever was inside could see out. In other words, something scared them so badly that they wouldn't even go outside the tent. They cut an eye hole in order to see what it was. And I'm betting whatever it was got them to take off running right out of the tent, because they were all found without their shoes, far away from the tent. A couple of them had tried to start a fire. One of the females' tongues was missing. Some of them had internal damage to their organs and bones in such a way that it looked like they had been in a car wreck of some kind. And off in the distance, way down in a valley, not far from the Mountain of the Dead, there were other campers. And those campers reported that on the night that those people must have died up on Dyatlov Pass, they noticed some very strange lights hovering above the mountain. And how many times have we seen the Bigfoot species actually be accompanied by strange lights? I'm not saying that Bigfoot had a hand in their deaths, but it is interesting. And the missing tongue is in particularly very interesting, because you have with that the same type of wound caused in the Guaraparanga human mutilation case. A severing of the tongue. Same thing occurs in cattle mutilations. Could it be that these are drone craft performing functions like that, and that they're not always perfect? I don't know, because the coroner seemed to think that whatever did it was designed for that and for nothing else. That would lead any investigator to believe that it's quite likely and quite possible that there are other unknown cases of that occurring. Could it be that they're tracing the contaminated food supply into the human population and are then testing some particular humans for that contamination? It's quite possible. At the heart of it all is something called prion proteins, and prion proteins are almost impossible to destroy. If you consume them, over time they become deposited into the brain and they cause all kinds of damage. And nobody really knows where prion proteins come from. That's why it would be interesting for a type 3 civilization to actually be investigating this contamination on a planet that they theoretically would own. That's the parallax view. And why do we study all of this weird paranormal stuff all the time? Because it's through glimpses of cases like that that you get a little glimpse behind the curtain that's been pulled over the truth to keep you from seeing what's really going on. And all the while is that sort of ever beckoning question of why. Why hide it? The answer to that question is the answer to most paranormal phenomenon on this planet. going back to the interdimensional doorways, it appears as though we've got creatures that are coming through those doorways, and those creatures, at least some of them, appear to be predatory in nature. In other words, we've got a lot of missing people that have gone missing in areas that are heavily wooded and mountainous. It's heavily wooded, mountainous areas that you find high concentrations of quartz crystal. It's in these areas you find doorways naturally occurring to other dimensions. And it's in these areas that you apparently have a paranormal predator of some kind preying upon humans. And with that, I refer to the missing 411 phenomenon. So that's the planet that you live on. A planet filled with cryptid animals, a planet being visited by autonomous, sentient, artificially intelligent craft that are literally designed to perform functions on this planet of maintaining it for a species that has seeded it for their own ends. On top of that, the species they seeded with their own ends apparently has been genetically manipulated and interbred with. And those antecedents, those relatives, if you will, living relatives, are even today in control of most of the planet. And that, my friends, is the parallax view. It's the world that we find ourselves in right now. And every day when you're watching the news now, you'll begin to see it in a different light. We live in fascinating times and on a fascinating planet, and there is never a day that should go by that doesn't fascinate you. Living here and being here in this time and in this space. Because we are truly on the great space roller coaster. And you'll have to join me next week, guys. We'll be examining some more craziness. I wanted to get back to talking about the so-called testimony of Billy Corgan, the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins, and his encounter with somebody in the music industry that was a shapeshifter. That's a real deal story, and we're going to talk about that next week and how all of that might fit into the greater view of what's going on. And stay tuned for more quality programming right after this.
Awesome job, Jack. Thanks.
Cool, sure.
Just stick with me for a little bit. I'm going to do a transition here so that I can get her encore up.
Cool.
All right.
That's awesome.
And get Zombie Zach going over on TMV.
Nice.
All right, let's see here. I'm done with this broadcaster. And yeah, if you get a chance, please do take a look at that.
I will.
Some of those links.
I will, and I'm still going to get you that embed code too. I should be. Actually, this week is going to be a good week because a lot of the stuff taking up my time is going to kind of come to a close. So.
Okay. Let's see here. All right, let me bring this up here real quick.